You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
CMR Critical Mass Radio is a completely non-profit station where the hosts pay to broadcast their shows. The mission of the station is to get as much information as possible out to people about the world we live in, to unite like-minded people, and to try to come up with workable solutions. If you agree with the work that we are doing, then please feel free to help us continue by making a donation on the webpage. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it is our turn. CMR Critical Mass Radio in association with We Are Change Manchester and Freedom Northwest. Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it's our turn.
And welcome once again to Outside the Box Open Forum here on Tuesday night, as opposed to Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, it kind of works that way, 7 nights a week. Hello, I'm your host, Kate of Gaia. Yeah, I kind of appreciate the fact that this mother of creation called Earth, that beautiful void aspect, that has her own sun burning within her most dark center. Yeah, I got her back. I know she is mine. Sort of helps keep these meat sticks walking around too, doesn't it? Be a little hard floating around in space, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's what I think too. But anyway, I have a little, what do they call them? Oh yeah, announcements. It's one that Lisa put together today. A few words from all the hosts. This is Critical Mass Radio's first birthday. Yeah, it's hard to believe that. You know, I've been around a lot of pretty impressive radio stations. Worked on a lot of them, either as a host or as a guest. And I got to tell you, I didn't even know that. I figured it'd been around for, a couple of years or more. Because it's a very professional, probably the most professional I've come across as far as internet radio goes. And the site is criticalmassradio.co.uk. Very slick site, easy access, easy to use, very professional. Definitely put together by someone that actually knows their shit, and two, cares about it. So there you go. So I wanted to share that. It was something that Lisa had sent to me a little while ago. It was put together, actually, today, and I'm sure over the last day or so. And what was I going to say there? I kind of want to give it a different flavor. We're definitely going outside the box tonight. Sometimes you got to take those few minutes and appreciate where that box opener comes from. And I can't begin to stress my gratitude enough for Paul Giovanni and Lisa, and of course the hosts that have made Critical Mass what it is and what it's turning into. And it is, as I said in my part today, Critical Mass Radio is bigger than life to me. Because one, it has a lot of beautiful people like you that come to the table, which is pretty cool, I think. If you don't think so, I do. But, without further ado, I think it runs about 20 minutes. But so this way you'll get a chance to meet the other hosts who say a few words each, a little bit of background. And also, I'm going to do my part as well. You know what I'm like when it comes to donations and whatever. But I do ask on behalf of Critical Mass Radio and Paul and Lisa and whatever, because it is a non-profit. It's I'm one of the lucky hosts. Hosts generally have to pay to have their shows on the air. That's the gift that Paul gave us. Because I think somehow, inherently, deep down, he knew there was something. Just something might be a little bit different about what we're doing here. And all I want to do is give back. That's all I want to do. And I know I haven't got much, but I'm going to get in touch with Vicky, see if there's anything I can send to criticalmassradio.co.uk through their donate button. So I want to give back too. Kind of neat how everything goes in a circle after a while, doesn't it? The love just keeps going round and round, but it's powering up a spiral of incredible strength, and we all get to be a part of it, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of going to be the overlaying and the underlying theme of tonight, being the first birthday. Again, this kind of snuck up on me, over the last day or so. And I've still been pondering the fact that it's only a year old today, that's mind-boggling. And I've been with CMR since let me see, November, December. I'll have to check back. But I didn't realize that the station was only literally months old at that point. Because based on what I've seen and what I've heard and the people that are involved, that's just downright impressive is what that is. So don't mind me. And that's coming from me. I've been in radio a while. So I hope Paul and Lisa and the rest of the hosts take the compliment for what it is. It's not like, whatever I say matters or is important. But I'll tell you from the experience that I've had and from some of the schlock operations I've been connected to and the amazing stations I've had opportunities to both work on and guest on. Yeah, Critical Mass Radio is a leading world player. And I know that. It had to be the critical mass for me. And that's why I'm here. On my way home. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce you guys to some of the other... as soon as I get my mouse to bloody well work here. Is it wanting to work? Anyway, some of the other hosts and people involved in Critical Mass Radio. So here you go. This is the CMR first birthday announcements. And after that, I got my box opener, my outside the box can opener, and we're going to go downtown. So in the meantime, enjoy.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Hi guys, this is Lisa from the Cry Freedom Show, and today is the first birthday of Critical Mass Radio, and I'd just like to say it's been an amazing year. My life's changed so very much during this time. Critical Mass Radio has been a crutch for me, and I know it has been for many others too, so it's not all been easy, but the station is going from strength to strength, and I'm really, really proud to be part of it. I'd like to thank all the hosts, all my fellow co-hosts here for their friendship and their hard work. I love you all so much. I'd like to especially thank our station manager Paul Giovanni, who's almost burst a gut putting CMR together and keeping it going. Well done, hon. I know you've been through a lot to do this, and I hope it's been worth it for you, because it has for me, and I'm sure it has for many, many others. I'd like to say to all the listeners, we do need your help like never before to keep this wonderful alternative truth station going, because although it is getting stronger and stronger, we do need funding desperately to be able to carry on. So please, please don't let this station fold. Help us by donating whatever you can, regularly if that is possible at all, by visiting criticalmassradio.co.uk and using our donate button. I really wouldn't ask if we didn't need it, and we really do need it. This is our station, the people's station, and we can't do it without you, so help us to change the world and be part of it. Thanks so much, and a very, very happy birthday, CMR. And I know George is looking down on us right now, so cheers, Mucker.
Hi, Ellie, is it okay?
Okay, I'm talking to Brian now from Brian's Radio Blog Show. Brian, tell me what CMR means to you.
It feels like yesterday that Tom, Paul and myself sat in the Shakespeare in Manchester over a few drinks talking about Paul's idea to start his own online radio show. And Tom and myself agreed to be part of that, and A few months later, Paul acted on his thoughts and vision and started Critical Mass Radio online, and now it's a year since that's been operating. So thank you, Paul, for your vision and for your determination to start CMR, and I'm glad to be part of that. Happy birthday, mate.
Hiya, this is Alex from the Razor's Edge Show. I'd like to wish a massive happy first birthday to Critical Mass Radio. A big thank you to Paul Giovanni, who's been the driving force and committed facilitator of what is fast becoming the UK's #1 internet radio truth station. It's not been an easy first year, with some very choppy waters for the station to navigate, not least of which was the devastating loss of George from the Prisoner broadcast straight after our very first CMR conference. He was an integral part of Critical Mass Radio, and his untimely death was a massive blow to the station and to those of us who had become good friends with him. Critical Mass Radio not only lost one of its best shows, we also lost a bloke who worked tirelessly for CMR. Still, despite the difficulties faced, Critical Mass Radio is still alive and kicking and going from strength to strength. A special mention should also go to Lisa from the Cry Freedom Show, who does a vast amount of work behind the scenes and deserves a big pat on the back. Anyway, here's to another year of Critical Mass Radio and doing what it does best: informing, educating, entertaining, and above all, bringing freedom seekers together to continue the process of ending the totalitarian nightmare. Happy birthday, Critical Mass Radio.
This is Ben Emlyn Jones off her Panwo Radio, part of the Critical Mass Radio Network. And I was just thinking, 1 year, just 1 year, what a lot we've done, how far we've come. Just think how far we can go in 2 years or 3 years, or even longer. The New World Order doesn't stand a chance with CMR on the case. Thanks to all my listeners, thanks to Paul for all his great work, and thanks to all the other hosts of Critical Mass Radio, past and present.
This is Lisa from the Cry Freedom Show, and I'm just speaking now with Paul Fitch from the Real Solution Show from CMR. Paul, just wanted to have your thoughts really on what CMR has meant for you since you've been involved, really.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say a big happy birthday to the station and to Paul Giovanni, who's put so much hard work in, including yourself, in getting the station up and running off the ground. For me, Lisa, it's been absolutely phenomenal. It's certainly another platform, and it's a bigger platform for getting the information out there and raising as much awareness as we can to the mass public.
This is Dave Lloyd, who's very constantly in our chat room and quite usually on a lot of the radio shows as well, helping with the interviewing. Dave, I'd just like to ask you what your thoughts are on CMR and what it's meant to you since you've actually been involved with the station.
Well, I think it's actually groundbreaking. It's just a year old, and the work that it's done already is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we couldn't get anywhere without the station manager, Paul Giovanni, but also the hosts that are here or have actually contributed and come and gone. I've done a fantastic job. This is an airspread for getting the information out, and it's a template hopefully for other stations to come on air as well and spread the truth, and hopefully together we can get to the reality all the individual projects that need more expansion on.
Okay, now we have a message from Gwen, who's a member of We Are Change Leads and a really, really strong supporter of CMR, and she's helped a lot in the past with donations, etc. So thanks very much, Gwen.
First birthday poem for Paul G and CMR. Paul G, you are a star, dad of CMR. You've brought hearts together, birds of a feather. Like the sunshine bright, CMR's shining light. New hope for souls despairing, love, support and caring. Across the airwaves springs, the bell of freedom rings. Loving arms curled, right around the world. The spinning globe embraces hearts in far-flung places. A better world is here, of love, not hate and fear. Together our energy brings victory. Paul, we all thank you for all you've done and do. You founded CMR. Together we are a star.
Okay, this is Andy, better known as Meta, from the chat room, telling us what CMR means to him.
I found out about it when I came across a video with Love Freeman talking about not paying your council tax and stuff like that on the We Are Change Manchester YouTube site. That's how I first came across CMR. I tuned in, and that was about September last year, and I never looked back. It's been great. Every week I look forward to monthly shows. Every week it's brilliant. As people are beginning to see and realise that all is not what it seems, it's stations like CMR that give out valuable information about what's going on and about what people can do on certain shows as well. There are solutions within the station, within the shows that are given out that we can actually act upon, which is good. Paul, he's putting a lot of hard work in. I think he needs to be applauded for all his effort he's put into it, really. Yeah, it's down to him that's brought a lot of us together, so he's got a lot to thank himself for and be proud of as well.
Okay, I'm now talking to Sarah Goodley from the Irate Women's Show. Sarah, can you just tell us what CMR actually means to you?
Well, it's just been absolutely fantastic and it feels like family already. I know I'm a new girl, but I've been listening to it on and off all the way since the radio show first started, and it's just been so insightful, it's been so full of information, and all I can do is thank Paul and just say happy birthday to CMR, and let's be pathfinders for some fantastic shows in the future.
So with me at the moment I have Kate of Gaia, who's actually hosts the Outside the Box show here on Critical Mass Radio. Kate, I'd just like to ask you to put in a couple of sentences what CMR means to you, if you would.
Oh, absolutely. CMR is the tipping point. Critical Mass Radio for me, and the platform that has been so graciously passed, the torch has been passed to me. There are no words. The difference that is being made is bigger than life itself. It's incredible. I can't say enough and be grateful enough for you guys. I say it every night, and I mean it. That's the thing. I mean it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, next up we have the wonderful Rob Freeman from the Out of the Matrix show, saying just what Critical Mass Radio means to him.
In time, CMR will prove to be one of the most important and one of the most instrumental things that's ever happened in spreading awareness of what's really happening in the world and how we can fight back against this evil tyranny of enslavement. And Paul Giovanni is the driving force behind that fight back, and CMR is his gift. So congratulations on your first birthday, CMR, and a massive thank you to Paul G to just keep on doing what you're doing. Love you all. That's it.
Right, I'm now with Pippa. Pippa's been a long-time supporter of Critical Mass Radio, and she's also been a co-host on a few of the shows. So, hi Pippa, if you could just tell me in your own words what CMR actually means to you, that'd be fantastic.
CMR does an essential job, and there's great people involved with the station, giving a really essential voice to topics that matter. So, Paul, well done. You've been a star. This wouldn't mean anything without you and everybody else. So, everybody, happy birthday, CMR.
Right, this is next celebrated actress Margie Clark of Letter de Brezhnev and Coronation Street fame, telling people what she thinks about Critical Mass Radio. And this was at a pub quiz that took place in Liverpool last night, where I was part of the Critical Mass Radio quiz team, and this is Margie telling it in her own unique way.
Really gorgeous actor spam over here in this corner. Liverpool depends on you, lads. They're our present and our future. I tell you, this is one of the best radio stations on the internet.
Smiley.
I found them by surfing, and it's Critical Mass Radio. And if you really want to know what's going on, what is it reported in the mainstream news? Like the fact that 2 million people worldwide demonstrated against Monsanto, against genetically modified food, and no mention of it. No mention in the mainstream media, damned by their silence. So welcome, Critical Mass Radio!
Okay, well there's only one person I can finish off this first birthday celebration tribute to Critical Mass Radio off with, and he's up next.
Paul, just before we go, mate, I just want to thank you. Two things I want to do is thank you for the opportunity.
No problem, mate.
You know, I was very reluctant, and people who know me, who I've spoken to before I decided to do the show, new. I'm not that type of person to be ranting and raving or waffling in public, but I do, you know, I do appreciate you give me the opportunity, the offer for doing it, and also congratulate you on what you've done, what you're trying to achieve, mate. And I nearly said, and I sincerely mean that, folks. No, but it is sincere, mate. It is. It's from my heart, that. Honest to God. So should we wrap the show up with this? But it's about 4 minutes long, yeah.
Go on, mate.
Thanks everyone for listening. Hope you listen next week, and I hope you listen to all the other hosts on all the other broadcasts. From me, the prisoner, be seeing you.
Okay, well, a massive thanks to all the guys for helping me put that together. Cheers, you lot. It's a pleasure to know you all. So, it's been quite a year of ups and downs, and I think it was fitting to give our dear George the last word there, because we all miss him so very much. Love you, Mucker. So, Paul, we give this to you with all our love. Thanks for what you've done with CMR. Thanks for being there. Thanks for all the help and support you've given me over the last year. You'll never know how much it means. We're all here to help in any way we can. We all need to get the word out about Critical Mass Radio as much as possible, guys. So please tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell everyone, and tell them we need their support if we're to carry on doing this, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for everyone. So, Paul, enjoy the rest of your CMR birthday show, hon. We all love you, and I'm going to finish off with a poem that I've written especially to mark the occasion for the very first birthday of Critical Mass Radio. So goodbye from me, thanks for listening, and this is an ode to Critical Mass Radio.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
An ode to Critical Mass Radio. Critical Mass Radio is 1 year old today, and already it's showing everyone the way. This world that we live in is not how it seems. It's also very different when you know what it means. The people in power are not what you think, for all they really want is for humanity to think. The mission of the station is to let people know, so that they can identify who is the real foe. So in May 2012 a new station was born, and for many of us it really was a new dawn. Paul Giovanni was there at the helm, and it really did feel that we were entering a new realm. The UK had never seen a station like this, telling the truth and not taking the piss. The truth can be painful, but know it we must, for we have been deceived by those that we trust. The last year has been filled with blood, sweat and tears, worries, anxieties and plenty of fears. And still that's not over, so we still need to ask for your help in donations to let us carry on this task. For nothing at this time can be more important to do. Critical Mass Radio is here for a reason, which is why we ask you to join us and help us in whatever way you can, because we do this for each other, for all our fellow man. Never has the time been more right for us to rise, to reach out together and conquer the lies, because now is the era we come into our own, to unite together and take back our home. We've lost some on the way, and it's been very sad, and one in particular made us all very mad. Our dear brother George, the Reverend indeed. It hurt us a lot and made us all bleed. But he's always here with us, he never really went away. His energy's around us like a big massive ray. He was here from the start, his input was immense, amazing knowledge and wisdom, humour and sense. And Paul's led with honour, he's always been true. He's been there for us all, for me and for you. He's suffered and struggled, and it ain't over yet, but he carries on striving, even though he's in debt. Many don't see what he's put into the station, what it's taken to get it all to synchronisation. I've seen what's gone on, it's been really hard work, it's been a labour of love, because there's rarely a perk. But he carries on smiling and making us laugh, as we carry on striving along this great path. He's a catalyst for something that will make a change. It's coming up faster, we can see it in range. And we have our Rob Freeman, who's chomped at the bit, in leading the way while on his headphones he does sit. He's showing the ways we can take back our power to knock these controllers off their bloody black tower. And we also have Alex, a true activist is he, who's screaming at the forefront for you and for me. With swearing in abundance, he's always seeing his arse, trying to make people see how things work in this farce. We've got Gwen, Pippa and Sarah, Ben, Kate and Mark, Izzy, Des and Peck always having a lark. Also our dear Bitchy and Dave, who always discuss topics of the day which they then try to suss. Also Metal, Matt and Beckett, who have a good chat. Toot, Bobby and Mark H, who all smell a rat. Our Rob B and Brian and Dan the Green Man, trying to enlighten about the real world as fast as they can. And so many, many more, I just can't mention all. Together we are strong, together we are tall. Critical Mass Radio is about us standing as one, those that are here now and those who have gone. To help spread the word on criticalmassradio.co.uk, to help us continue showing people the way, to taking back our freedoms and not having to pay for what belongs to all of us on this planet today. Because this world at the moment is the wrong way around, and we need to turn it back to the way it was found. It may seem a hard task, but it isn't at all. It's all very easy when we break down the wall. The wall that has kept us divided and torn, that is waiting to collapse so a new world can be born. We can do this together, of that I have no doubt, with our collective power and energy, which is what it's all about. We are the ones who agreed at a time and place to do what we can for the planet and human race. We are the ones who have to see this through. Quite frankly, there's no choice for me or for you. Because once we know truth, there is no going back. We have to get the word out, and we all have the knack. That is why we are doing the work that we do, because we are meant to. We have to be true. True to ourselves and to what we know is right. True to the cause, to the reason we all fight. The fight to highlight and change all that is wrong, and to take many with us, those who will come along. So I do have to say this, and I have to say it loud, because when it comes to it, we have to stand proud. In what we believe in what we have to do, to wake up the sleeping who don't have a clue. It's not really their fault they don't see reality. It's been hidden so well, it is hard to see. But when you first get it, it starts to cascade, and what you thought was true will start to fade. So cards on the table, Critical Mass Radio needs you all to help us continue so that we do not fall. If we all give just a little, just what we can spare, it will make a huge difference to mark our first year. I'd hate to ask for money, it goes against the grain, but to lose Critical Mass Radio would cause me so much pain. Because I feel it's in my blood and it's something we've all helped to build. It's made a really big difference in the gap that it's filled. It would have an amazing impact if each listener could chip in. It would ensure the station's future and would be a win-win. Because we'd all be part of something that I believe is key to paving out the future for you and me. So help us guys, keep going, help us shine the light. We need to carry on now that the end is in sight. We will be able to hold our heads up high, knowing we did our utmost to expose that big fat lie. So a massive thanks to Paul for the station he has built. We all support you completely, hon, support you to the hilt. We'll do this together, and each day we will learn. This game is nearly over, because it really is our turn. criticalmassradio.co.uk, the People's Station that is showing the way. Please join us and help us be part of the change.
And again, thank you, Lisa, for putting that together. It's not an easy task to do that, and it just shows the level of dedication that some people have. And everyone, I know every one of you listening, every single one of you knows how close we are. You know, everyone's been talking about the 11th hour. We're in the 11th hour. No, we're in the hour. This is the time. If you can't feel it in your bones by now, you will soon, and so will many others that aren't even aware of what's going on. It's because of the push that you're making, and that I'm making, and that all of us are making collectively to steer this beautiful orb that we live on into a new and better direction. Yes, it's all illusion, but it's one of our creation. And if we must be in hell, which is what this is the prison planet, this is your purgatory. I think we can make it a better place to be. So, as above, so below. As within, so without. And I'm sure you're starting to see the so without because of the change coming from within you and each and every one of us. I especially see it. And for those that may not think it, I had a long way to walk. You know, I got to look back over this lifetime and see all the different rabbit holes and all the different roads I took to try to find me. And all I had to do was look inside. That's the irony of it. And as a special treat, as I just told Lisa, I'm still capable of leading a dance. I prefer to be led in a dance, but Lisa's here to join us for as long as she feels like it, actually. So, Lisa, how are you doing?
Hello, Kate. Special treat. Bloomin' heck, no pressure, eh? Good evening.
Good evening, yeah. Well, it's evening here for sure. It's 7:30 in the evening.
Sorry, yeah, it is indeed.
That's okay.
It is indeed.
Yeah. And you guys are at pub hour. just
don't know
past
what you mean.
Yeah, just past the witching hour, you know. So, so I think tonight, what I think we need to do is we need to spend a little bit of time actually reveling in our victories. You know, we talk about all the things that we have to defeat. How about all the things that we've won? How about all the road markers we found? How about all of the people that you now know that you didn't know a year ago? And how much of a difference is being made? So let's focus on, and this is the one thing I love to focus on, solutions, and of course, we never spend enough time on the victories. And while the victories may not always be omnipresent, they're there. And they're there in a big way. I've said it many times, and we'll continue to say it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And this is the leap of faith I speak of. So, you guys have done an astonishing job. Like I was just saying there at the beginning of the show, the thing that has amazed me the most with regards to Critical Mass Radio is how well defined it is, how streamlined, and I use the word slick very loosely here. That's my compliment of, you know, that's like anytime I was doing architectural drawings or whatever, it's when it's all done, it's slick, right? It's where all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted versus I's crossed and T's dotted, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's for me it was actually quite a shock to find out in the last day or so that Critical Mass is turning 1 year old. So when I joined with CMR, Tony and I, when we came aboard, and Santa, I guess it would be November, December, you guys were literally months old, and at that point I already had the vibe that the station had been founded for literally years and was run by a bunch of seasoned veterans. And to find out that it was, at that point when I joined, only literally months old, I can't hand out a better compliment. I've been in the game for well over 5 years now, and I've worked with some pretty, you know, slick outfits and some riffraff too. But and I'm talking hosting and guesting, both on mainstream radio and internet. So. I can't hand out a bigger compliment, so well done. So why don't you say hi to everybody, and because this is your first time on the show, isn't it?
Well, I have been on, I think, once before, but it was a while
Briefly.
back.
Yeah,
briefly.
and it was very brief, you know.
It was. All right, Kate. Well, firstly, I'd just like to say massive thanks for you for playing that clip. I didn't know you were going to do that, so you caught me off guard.
Well, why wouldn't I? It's the birthday, you know, so. I came in, I thought, what a great thing to have and definitely share with everybody.
I was laughing with Paul earlier because that took me all day to get that together. I haven't even got dressed today. I've just spent the whole day doing that. But anyway, just to say again, thanks very much for playing that. We did have that aired on Paul Giovanni's show just before, which was like the birthday celebration on the sister station at CMR, and it did seem to go down very well. Everyone seemed to really enjoy it. It did. What you just said then about us all sort of doing this together, etc. There was actually an atmosphere that was formed in the chat room when we were playing that was just so amazing, because we do feel very much like a family at Critical Mass Radio, I've got to say, in the chat room. We do have the same people in there night after night, and I've been involved for a year. It's changed my life in regards to how you feel about people. Most of us spend our lives with people that we don't really understand, because most of us have always been different for our whole lives. I think all of us listening can probably say that, and we do feel estranged and as if we're not in the right place. And ever since I joined Critical Mass Radio, the people that I've met have just been amazing, and yes, it has changed my life, and it's given me so much hope. And it's hard to have, I know you don't like that word, hope particularly, Kate, but it's hard to have hope sometimes in this world because of everything you see around you. And I know it's all illusion, I know it's all a game, but still, it does bear down on you sometimes. And when you meet like-minded people that you really... We've all said the same thing here when we meet up at the conferences and things. It's like we've known each other forever. And It's just this instant... You don't have to explain anything. There's like an instant bond with us. And that is what is the key thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I call and what is known as resonance.
Yeah.
It's where you can walk into a room filled with people, and if you're in the same resonance with them, it's like people you've known your entire life. Because of course we're all one consciousness, so what we're doing is resonating with parts of our consciousness that are on the same page, albeit from a different perspective. And I equate it to, well, here's the fractal for me. Here's my life allegory. It is exactly the same. If anyone wants to know what it feels like to be performing on a stage, say in front of 30, 40, 50,000 people, here's what it feels like. It's when you have a group of people around you, 3 or 4 other individuals, that are all playing their instrument from their perspective, playing their part, their piece of the puzzle, all playing the same song. That's what it feels like. When you walk into groups of people, that's what I feel like with everyone that shows up. This is the band. This is the orchestra pit, and some of us are playing violin, some piccolo, some tuba, some timpani and oboe and clarinet, whatever the case may be. It does not matter. Because I'll tell you, if someone in that orchestra, and here's how you can spot it, someone in that orchestra doesn't quite know their instrument, and they walk in and they start playing out of tune, they're very easy to spot because the resonance doesn't feel right. And this is the intuitive that I speak of. This is when you can start to sense it. But that's exactly what being on stage with that power of, presence with all the people around you, all playing the same tune, it is a merging of consciousness, and there is nothing. I tell you, I've never been higher in my life when that occurs, and that's probably why I have an obsession with it, because I can't satiate it. It's too incredibly wonderful.
That's so well put, Kate. I mean, the way you just described that, that is just so well put, because that is exactly what it is, and it's like an orchestra getting together and playing together, and as you just said earlier, all of us together that are on this same resonance, we can make this a better place to be. And I think because we all know that deep inside, this is why we carry on, even though sometimes it does seem hard and you do get a little bit fed up and pissed off sometimes, but it's when we do, this is what, even just meeting up on the station, this is why I keep doing this big sell for the money thing on Critical Mass Radio, and I hate doing that because, like you, I don't like the money thing at all.
It's a necessary evil.
Exactly.
But we can turn it into a necessary good. That's the point, and I do want to belabor this a little bit because there is a dichotomy within this whole money thing. We know what it is. It's the literal skin of ourself and our fellow brethren, okay?
Yeah.
But when we treat it with the respect to help, what we're doing is we're putting the skin back on.
Exactly.
We're not taking it and throwing it into some, piece of plastic garbage at Tepco or Walmart or Target or Zellers or whatever the hell you guys, box stores, cattle stores if you want. This is where you start showing your brethren reverence. And this is how everyone, whether or not they can get on the air and if they're not comfortable with speaking and doing that, it doesn't matter. That's not your puzzle. Well, that's your puzzle piece. Mine and everyone else's is a little bit different, but here's something we can do together. And if you got a couple of nickels and you can spare them, by all means. And if you can't, no worries. You know, this is about those that can help. If you want, there it is. And those that can't, just don't worry, hang in there. I said this earlier today. You know, many of us are hanging literally off a thread, and it's greased, but we're holding on. And that's all we have to do is hold on. And every little bit everyone does, whether it's, you know, coming in as a guest or, you know, just joining in on the call, just listening, it does not matter, because for me, and you know, I think you know me well enough by now, for me it's about the frequency, it's about the intent, and it's about how we resonate with each other. It's about getting that message across. And one of the things that Critical Mass Radio gives, and it's the only, and I got to tell you, this is the only station in my whole experience that has given me absolute free reign to do what I do. And I know me, I kind of bring a whole different brand of, quote, radio, unquote, from a very different perspective. And that's not because I'm special. No, it's because I have that piece. You know? Yeah. And that's it. That's the only thing. My piece of the puzzle is no different than anyone else's in terms of importance. It's just a different piece of the picture. So.
No, and that's what I felt too, Kate, because since I've known you and listened to you, that's what I feel. It's not that you're saying that you're better than anyone else. It's just what you're saying, and everyone says something slightly different, and it all fits together. And if we get it, we get it. And that's what I feel strongly. And what you were just saying, just to get back on what you were saying before about talking about being slick, etc., etc. Yeah. See, this is one of the things I absolutely love about Critical Mass Radio, is that we're not slick. We are in some ways, but in lots of other ways we're not slick as such. But we don't want to be slick. We want to be real for real people, and that's what I love about it. And I feel that's what we get across, and that's what I think you're trying to say. And I love the fact that you said that it's different to any other station that you've been at before, because I do feel that too, and that's why I feel we have to fight tooth and nail to make sure that we don't go down. It will happen if we don't get help, because we are struggling. We do need help. And I hate saying it, but it's the little from the many that makes the difference, and that is the key point here, yeah?
Absolutely. And just to give people a sense of what the value is, to run a typical platform the way these are, and Paul has two of them, one of them that I'm using and the other one that's used by CMR main page. Each of those platforms, typically for a year's subscription as a premium host, is around the $1,200 mark. So right. we're talking about between $2,400 and $3,000 to just get the platform. Never mind any of the other, you know, running the website and you know, taking care of the sundries that need to be taken care of. And I know Paul runs a very tight ship. I know you all do, and this is the thing. I mean, I was on one station that shall not be mentioned that was very interested in lining their pockets with, you know, notoriety that apparently I brought, and a few others. You know, as I found out later, and it was not a very comfortable feeling. And you know, people can say what they want. I mean, as I've made it very clear, it doesn't matter. People know in their own hearts what they've been doing and what they're about. I don't need anybody to explain anything to me. It's the actions are shown, and the intent as a result is shown. And this is one of the things I love about CMR, is that I know I've talked to Paul and you often enough to know you guys run a very tight ship, and it's no bullshit. And it's there's not even a word to describe what I'm trying to say here. You know, the fact of the matter remains. I said this earlier today. With me, I had to come to Critical Mass Radio because Critical Mass is where this ends.
Yeah.
I knew this as soon as I came on board. I said, finally, I made it home. And, you know, and we have many, many thousands of people tune into us every night. Typically, we're running between 12 and 15,000 on average, and we've peaked out at almost 125,000 for one episode. You know, so it's not that we're not getting the word out, and that people aren't listening.
And this is what I'm saying. Imagine if every one of those 120,000 people each donated £1 or $1 to help us carry on doing what we're doing for everyone. I mean,
you'd never have to ask.
Like, wow.
You'd never have to ask again. That would be it taken care of and the planet solved. It's just like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like
the
we're running.
power that we have is so simple. Sorry, Kate. The power that we have is so simple. It's so little, but together it's so big. Yeah.
Yeah, we do this together. You know, it's not like we're gonna be running a Jerry Lewis telethon every year for fundraising so that the executives can line their pockets while these kids get the bare bones necessities if they get that. No, exactly. This is not about the run for the cure where the cure is already known, and these cancer societies are just they're a cancer on society. That's all they are. When they say the cancer society, they mean it. And year after year, millions upon millions of dollars is raised and donated for, quote, research, unquote, when the simple answer is hemp oil. It's done. So the difference between what we're doing and all of that is every single penny goes to change the world. This is not for profit, and I'm talking the Jesus version as well as the money one. Okay, this is a non-profit, and again, it's as I said earlier, it's that the hosts typically on Critical Mass Radio have to pay to do their shows. So that is for me a double blessing, especially in the position I'm in. But obviously, Paul saw the value. When Tony and Paul and I first hooked up, the day after I left the other station, and we were on the air that night. That just doesn't happen because it's not supposed to. And I was just going to say that it does feel, and then we keep saying this at the station. I know it sounds really, really corny, but obviously I think a lot of you listening will get it. It really, really does feel like we've all met for a reason. And I know that does sound naff in a way, but it's just like it was destined. Yeah, well, you're preaching at the choir right now with all the, and I hate calling the people listeners. They're not. They're family. This is their table. I am the humble servant, just sitting at it and making sure that there's enough cutlery and enough food and everything else for everybody else, and to make sure that when we have new people come to the table, that they're made most welcome, or in the case of shills, well, we have fun with those. Again, you're not going to rattle my cage. Sorry, that's an ego trip. God forbid anyone who tries, Kate. Oh, they have, and I let them do their thing, and I gotta let them show off who and what they are, so that when I take the what do I call it these days? Oh, the purple vibrating unicorn rainbow chainsaw to them. Ow. Yeah. Exactly. And for the people in the Love and Stuff room, all you have to do is if you want, and please, if you can post this on your Facebook, just post the link to criticalmassradio.co.uk and pass that around to your friends. I know that when this is what takes me a lot. It takes me a lot of time before every show, just posting to Facebook groups and what have you. But when I do that, I'm posting to between 20 and typically 20 and 40,000 people, depending on how many rooms I can get to. So that's the difference that we make, and literally it's a click away. And now if you can't donate, fine, that's no problem. Can you click a mouse? Can you maybe pass the word along? This is how the universe works. It's a worldwide web, and we are all part of it. We're all connected to it. And again, there is no guilt here, and there's no obligation either. Just follow your heart. And exactly. Just to quickly say, sorry, I've interrupted. Sorry, I just want to make a point about Facebook, because I know there's a lot of people that are very reticent about Facebook, and I'll be honest, Paul actually is too. He doesn't have a lot of time for Facebook, and I get it, and I can see the bad side of it, and I know it's controlled, etc., etc. But that said, the way I look at it is, there's still a hell of a lot of people out there, like all of us listening, that are on Facebook, and we're on it for a reason, and we're using their tool to gain our own thing. And I still think it's important to reach a lot of people out there, as I say, albeit their tool. We know it's monitored, etc., etc., fear porn, all that crap. But we can use it, and even if we're reaching a few people, and I think we're reaching a hell of a lot more than a few people, to me, it's a fantastic way of connecting, and I can never consider not using it, because I think it's a very powerful tool for us. Would you agree with that? Yeah, well, you've heard my saying, use the tool, don't be one. Exactly, yeah. That's where people get, if they're reticent about something, it's because they're still caught in a duality of good and evil instead of, good or evil instead of good and evil at the same time. I use the butter knife as a prime example. You can use it to butter your toast and put some jam on it, and then you can use it to walk over to someone you don't like and shove it into their chest through their heart. It's all about the intent of the tool and how are you using it. And I love, that's judo, using your opponent's strength and ability against them. It's about sidestepping, and that's all I do with this entire system. I sidestep it, watch it go crashing through into a wall, and then I step back. It's a proverbial bullfight, if you will. And of course, I'm not going to stand there with swords because that ends the game. I'm quite content to go, well, there you go. Oh, there's that wall again. Sorry about that. And then I turn around and wait. Oh, there's that wall over there too. God, you gotta hate that shit. And that's the game I play. Listen, I've been through enough to see the humor in it now, and now it's a new game, and these are the kind of messages I'm trying to convey each and every night to show you individuals, every one of us, just how incredibly powerful you are. You've just been shown how to doubt it, how to fear it, how to, degrade yourself, how to be in fear and under complete effect of the system. That whole gut-wrenching thing when you see lights turn on behind you and all that kind of nonsense, right? And that's what the system is geared to. It is designed to keep everyone in a very low tone. And how we're defeating it, it's really simple. It's so easy. This is not difficult. All we have to do is take control of our emotions. I know that sounds a difficult task for some people, and it is. However, this is about making the choice of, well, you're responsible for how you're feeling. And I take full responsibility in knowing what I'm feeling at any given moment, and I do allow myself that. This is the thing. This is not about shutting down emotions. This is about observing them, feeling them, seeing them for what they are, and then passing through them as a learning experience. That's it. But when people get caught up in it, when they get caught up in the fear, when they get caught up in the pain, despair, and the misery that the system loves to promote, you're going to go circular, and that circle is going down. As I've explained before, if you draw a circle on a piece of paper, it may look two-dimensional, but it's actually three-dimensional because you can never measure its area because the number goes on for infinity.
Yeah.
Right? So it's actually a spiral. It's three-dimensional. So you decide whether you're going to take that elevator up or take the elevator down. It's your call. That's Jacob's ladder. For those that are kind of wondering what it is, that's the ladder. It's your choice. It's an emotional step.
It is. I feel, Kate, it is a sort of a natural progression because obviously most of us, we go from the being totally in the system, believing everything, and then something happens to us, whatever that might be, that takes you outside of it, and you do start looking beyond that, and you go on this sort of journey, as many of us have, on this almost internet journey, discovering the real truths, etc. And at that point, you're still in the fear thing then, I think, but then you do actually, I'm speaking from my own point of view here, but I'm assuming it's probably similar to a lot of people, you get to a stage where you do get beyond that. You realise everything that's out there. It is very, very, very scary for a time, and you're thinking, oh my God. But then you actually get past that, and you almost get to a sort of a stage where it's almost like you can't be bothered with it anymore because it's just so flipping, you're so fed up of it all, and it's almost like you get above it. So it doesn't scare you anymore. It just becomes almost the norm. And I don't know what I'm quite trying to say here, but it's like you do rise above the fear thing. It's all still there, and it still sometimes feels that it's too much, but you're almost laughing at it. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. So Laura's posted me a couple of things here. Where are we? Well, here's the note. So many people are going to get well, Kate. So many. Code book. I learned away from it because Religiosus Chosenitis literal book, and you understand that it's a code book. My oh my. Before you wield. That was a double-edged sword to throwing at us, right? Wendy, I added you to an 11-step room way before I get to this. And indeed, the perfect. Never blame the tools. That's so easy to do that. So Malachi 3:1, behold my messengers. and he or they will prepare the way for me in the source which you seek, will suddenly come to his temple, each messenger of the covenant, whom you delight. Behold, he, she, it is coming. Source. Okay, that's bring all tithes into the storehouse. Be food in my house, the source. I will open the windows of heaven, the Peniel, and pour out for you such blessings that there will not be room enough to receive it. Abundance shall flow. Thank you, Laura. Good words. John 3:3. Most assuredly, I say unto you, unless one is born again, he cannot. And I've talked about ye must be born again for a very long time. Oh, of course I'm breaking up. Uh-huh. All right.
Oh, that's not just me, because I was only getting half of that.
Yeah, no, it's that's normal here, especially when I'm spewing truth. So I'm going to spew it again.
Absolutely, stop now, yeah.
Well, how much fun did I have today? No sooner did I get logged on and ready to roll that somehow a second Skype jumped up on my screen and knocked me off the air. So I was, I guess about 8 minutes late starting. Right. And of course I was going to be reading the continuation of Summons of the Dead, which I'm going to keep working on, and hopefully I'll have it all ready for tomorrow night. Then I'll get it dressed up and packaged, and I have to actually reverse it as well. I like to send it in forward and mirror version. That way, Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, yeah, that's what witches do. We're kind of like that. Oops, and sorry, Carol, I had the one thing over top of the page here, and Carol wants to jump in here, so I'm going to open up her line. And hang out for the night, Lisa. It's great having a CMR cohort on, another host from another show on with me. This is
it's an honor to be on. Thank you, Kate.
Vice versa, Carol.
Lisa, hi, Kate. Thank you very much, honey. I just want to wish Lisa and Paul a very happy birthday. This is Carol in California, and I appreciate this program and this ability for Kate to be on and enlighten us the way that she does. So God bless you, honey. I love you. Thank you.
Told you you're loved.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means an awful lot. Thank you so much.
And by the way, someone had asked today in the chat room about mailing things. Is there a way to contact Paul to make those arrangements if people don't have electronic means or whatever?
Without electronic means?
Yeah, if they want to mail something direct to Paul or something.
So you need like a postal address, you mean?
Well, yeah, Paul, I think, put up his email. I'm not sure what it was.
I can give you the email, certainly. The email would be criticalmassshow@criticalmassradio.co.uk.
Okay.
And that will reach Paul. That will go directly to Paul.
Okay, so that's criticalmasshow@criticalmassradio.co.uk.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, so if, and that's for anyone that is as out of the system as I am. Yeah, that's kind of, well, actually I can't even write checks. I'm very fortunate that, nor would I, but that's just me. No more signatures for this girl. But I'm very fortunate in a friend, Victoria, that has my back on a few things. And an Arian, by the way, Aries. Go figure, what are they on?
Oh, another one. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. I love my Aries friends. You, Paul, Victoria, Santo. Yeah, you guys.
There's a lot of us. There's definitely a lot of us.
Well, the Ram had to show up, right? So this squeaky little messenger can get her voice heard, right? So that's all it is.
Love it.
Someone had mentioned that to me today. I think it was Bumbalia about credit where credit's due. Here's the thing. This is creation for me. If I am you and you are me, who needs credit for anything?
Good point.
I'm just saying. This is our creation. I am your co-creation, in as much as you are mine. I am the net result of all my experiences of interacting with you and everything in this realm. So I am the culmination, the sum of the parts that is greater than the whole. So how can you not be the same? Mirror, mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when we can start. Yeah, we can start looking at each other a whole lot differently, and we look at each other with appreciation. And here, I'll give you an example in terms of, what would be deemed as judgment. When you look at someone that has completely, destroyed their bodies or whatever the case may be, you can look at them and say, instead of judging them, just look at them and go, that's something that I would not do from this perspective. And you hold that position. They have theirs for the contrast, and there is no judgment in contrast. There is only observation, right? So this is my way of trying to get people to, including myself. I mean, these are things we've been conditioned by society, separated literally at birth from our genders. Girls wear pink, boys wear blue. Girls play with dolls, boys play with guns. Okay? I mean, example, the other day when I was over visiting Vicky, as I was waiting for her, there was a bunch of kids playing out front, and a kid couldn't have been any more than, 6 or 7 years old, and there was a metal bowl on the ground, and he picks it up, puts it on his head, and says, I'm a military army guy. And I'm thinking, holy shit.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm going, really? Gee, I wonder where they got that notion. I wonder who spread that shit all over the campus.
Yeah, I wonder.
It's like, Dad, chill it out. So, I said there, I think a couple of weeks back, there was a guy, and I love this. This is the best part about being a girl like me. This guy's standing playing with his kid, maybe, I'd say 8 or 9 years old. Not a big kid, but it might even be that old. Might even, maybe about the same age, 6 or 7. Anyway, so he's playing catch, and he yells over to the kid, all right, I want you to throw it hard. I don't want you throwing it like a girl. And then I thought to myself, I was sitting here, bud, you throw me that ball and I'll show you how a fucking girl throws.
I think you were actually talking to me when that happened, to be honest.
Probably.
I seem to remember that now.
Yeah, so I'll show you how a girl throws. I might shock you when I put a hole through your baseball mitt. I've got an arm. That's the thing about Geminis. We got arms. That's our gift, right? Long arms. Very, very quick long arms too, I might add. And don't factor out the Irish part either, right? So there might be a little angst there still, because that's the emotions I like experiencing, and I don't live in them, but it's just kind of fun to have fun with them, right?
So what you say, I mean, basically, Kate, we are also pre-programmed through everything we go through as children, through the whole schooling system, everything. It's a wonder any of us actually come out with any kind of individuality at all, isn't it?
Oh, I know. That's been my biggest astonishment. Does any of us actually wake up? So take the feather in your cap, boys and girls. Yeah. I mean, this was not an easy game. We come in here, we didn't stand a chance, okay? We came in and we got mom and dad that are preaching either, Islam or Christianity or Judaism, and you're this color and that color and this culture and that culture, and you're this, and all manner of things to, stick as many labels as possible upon that child, you, me, everybody. Here, well, I'll give you a prime example of the mirror here. I was raised Northern Irish, okay? Protestant, no less. Rah, rah, the Queen, up to the Union Jack, and to the nth. I'm talking, family of the Masons. I got grandparents that were in the paramilitary. I got, oh yeah, and I'm talking family.
You went for a big time, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I played the game, baby. And I'll tell you my awakening moment too. I was 6 years old at this awakening moment. This was a big one for me. But, here I am, being raised in the thick of it, and, so pro-Union Jack and all the rest of it, that it boggles the imagination. But I'll tell you, went over to Ireland. We came to Canada in '67, and we went back in 1970 for a couple of weeks, or a few weeks, whatever the case was, to visit family. And I remember coming back here, and we were picked up because my dad was working, and we were picked up. He was only over. We had to overlap. He was there for 2 weeks, a week ahead of us, joined us for a week, and then went back ahead of us. But anyway, when we got back, we were picked up by friends of ours, and English friends from England. And they were immigrants as well. And of course, all the Brits. We all hang out together, right? especially in foreign lands, right? It's like, oh, you're here too. Well, let's meet at the pub, right? Anyway, so I remember sitting in the back of the car, and my friend, who was a year younger than me, Neil, I actually had a Union Jack, a little Union Jack flag, and I still have a photograph from the airport leaving in Ireland with this Union Jack flag. I remember sitting in the back, and Neil looked at me and said, "Oh, why have you got our flag?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "That's the flag of England. That's the English flag." And I said, "No, it's not. It's ours." You see where I'm going? And I said, because I was raised that the Union Jack was, our flag. And and that moment, a lot of things broke down very, very, very quickly. 6 years old, going, wait a minute, this isn't my flag. Why is somebody telling me it is? Why is it somehow? Why am I being lied to? And that was effectively the feeling I had. I still remember this like it happened 5 minutes ago. And I remember looking at this thing, and that set off a chain of events in my own mind and heart as to what was going on. And here I am, this little 6-year-old, right? Little militant grade 1, who the year before had kicked the kindergarten teacher in the leg because I didn't want to go to school, right? And of course got my ass whipped hardcore by my dad for it. But anyway, that's all neither here nor there. But I thought that was a rather poignant moment in my life of awakening of the program that you just spoke of. And look what we've had to go through. Look what we've had to endure to get where we are right now, sitting together at this table, all of us, every one of you. And I love this. The people that are tuned in to this show are the most tuned in on the planet. that I know. So, that's why I don't want to call them listeners, because they're not. They're creators. And the only thing that I can weigh this up with is very simply this: we're all co-creators. We show up here, and like I said, I just push the buttons. I just have the place, the table that I set for everyone, and everyone comes and we feast, and we feast on the truth. I look over even just the last few weeks of the notes that are coming in and what have you. It is beyond astonishing. And yes, Lisa, it is an absolute miracle that any one of us woke up. Look how bright you are. Look how strong you are for even that. Just that alone sets you apart from the crowd. You, the misfits, the changers of the planet, the changers of the universe. How dare you be butterflies flapping your wings, changing reality?
Yeah, how dare you indeed. Kate, can I just give a quick shout out to a guy called Andy from our chat room here in CMR who's just messaging me at the moment. I just don't know what we're talking about.
Is that Meta?
Meta. Yeah, Meta, yeah.
Hey, Meta, how are you? Go ahead. Of course, you don't have to ask for permission on this show. It's yours. Get on it.
Well, I know. It's just me. But
I know, you're being polite. Stop being polite. We're not politically correct here. I call an asshole an asshole here.
John. Okay, you just wanted to say... again, I agree with this totally. I think those of us that have woken up, have always been awake, and there's something that's been in us from the start, from when we were born, that's always been there. So no matter what we've been through and what you just talked about, no matter what that has been, the program that's been put on us, it's always there for us to wake up. And he's just saying that he was brought up a Catholic and went through the grammar school, Catholic school thing, and even though everything that was put upon him, he always knew something wasn't right. He always felt it deep down. As he says, indoctrination is a layer over our real thoughts, etc. It's so true, and I was lucky actually, because my parents were always outside the box. Let's get that one in. Mm-hmm. Completely. My parents were atheists. They were anti-royalists. They didn't want us to have anything to do with religion at school. We were always felt, when you're a kid, you hate that because you always feel different to the others, and it's the worst thing that can happen to you. But now I'm proud of what they did. We were always different. I've been brought up different all my life. So I was actually lucky, I suppose, to a large extent, because I didn't actually go through the preconceived ways that lots of you did. But even when you go through all of that, if you're meant to awake, you're going to awake. That's what he's saying, really.
Well, creation's perfect, and So here we go. There is, quote, the diametrically opposed, unquote, viewpoints of the Pope versus the Queen, and when you finally figure out that they're all one and the same, tricky bastards, eh? You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of pitting the sheeple, as we were, and we're not any longer, against each other. You know, this is where, of course, every fight, every war has to have a third-party interloper, someone to instigate. And it just depends on who can sell the story more to the masses on each side. And, of course, as we know, it ends up it's a banker's war anyway, which is the Vatican and, of course, City of London and District of Columbia. You know, that's how it works. And here we are. Now, I'll give you an example. In where I went to school in Ireland, on Fridays they had to let us out a half an hour before St. Barnaby's, Catholic school, which is just around the corner, so there wouldn't be any interplay between, you know, the kids, especially Northern Ireland. This is the 70s, and it was pretty intense. You know, so look at the division that was created there. I mean, look at the things, and I'll tell you, these are personal beefs of mine as a result of being born into, of course, by choice, into one faction. You know, pro-British, Protestant, rah-rah, the Queen, all the rest of that fucking nonsense. What I got robbed of was a Gaelic heritage. I would love to have learned to spoken Gaelic. And I mean, we go back to a time and not that long ago, where you were killed for speaking Gaelic. You were beaten to death, you know. You go back to the Civil War in the 1920s in Ireland. That is... It was a criminal offense to speak Gaelic, especially if, you know, some British troops came up and decided to knock you about a little bit, you know. So, we have Ninja wants to jump in here. Good. Excellent. Ninja's my right... As soon as I get my mouse working, Ninja's my right arm these days. And I will say, for anyone interested in what's current with me, I'll have this Summons of the Dead up shortly. But I'll tell you, you can go to kateofgaia.wordpress.com, and Ninja uploaded a copy for me. I sent it over to her because I was having a hell of a time trying to upload it to my Box account, where I could get the link to people so they can download Black's Law Dictionary 9th edition. So it's there in its entirety. So for those that want to see what the magic book is all about, grab a copy, kateofgaia.wordpress.com. It's free. Grab it. So there you go. Ninja, how are you?
Hi, Kate. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Ninja. How are you, hon?
I'm good, thanks, darling. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, well done, Lisa, for putting all that together today to celebrate the show's first birthday.
Oh, thanks.
It was nice to listen to. It was nice to connect with all those voices from home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, Kate, I wanted to jump in when I did because of what you said about having your Gaelic heritage never, you know, given to you by default. Because I feel the same way, you know, but perhaps a lot of the listeners, family don't know that my mother was of Irish stock, although she was born in England and I was born in London. It wasn't fashionable to be Irish in those days, and nobody really made a big thing out of it, you know. So in the 70s, like you said, the troubles in Ireland were all over the news everywhere. We were living under threat of bomb attack in London, and nobody wanted to claim any Irish heritage, thanks very much. And so that side of my life was completely ignored. And although my Irish grandparents were still alive when I was young, and I would visit them from time to time in England where they lived, that was as close as I got, and it was not close enough, you know. And it was all swept under the carpet, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. And even I remember going over in the late 80s. It was 1988. That's when I went with my dad and my, at the time, fiance. We were getting married the next year in 89. I went back over in 89 by myself with my dad. But I'll say that when I was over there, my ex and I took a skip over to London, met up with my cousin. He lived in Lewis, and just outside of Brighton, for those that don't know. and picked us up at the airport. It was fly in the one day, fly back the next evening kind of thing, right? And or the following day. And one of the things I noticed that we had to go and pick some stuff up in Lewis at the grocery store, and as soon as I open my mouth, of course, my brogue, it just, as soon as I'm home, I'm home, and every veil drops, and it's like, what about you? It comes right out immediately. So I'm just talking, and there was a look of panic on the young lady's face. It's, oh my God, you're Irish, you're not gonna blow me up or something. But you're right, it is. It's that it's that whole stigma that gets placed on it. And isn't it funny that stigma that was created by none other than the British government and the Vatican?
Yes, exactly. And so there's a lost generation, really, of or two generations of Irish people or people with strong Irish blood connections who never got the chance to really look at that and to share any kind of connection with their ancestors there, because it was never talked about. It wasn't promoted within the family even. So it's very sad.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. No, there's a lot of things that we can cover, and these are all simply just clues as to the allegories of what we need to learn, the divisions, the separations. The list goes on, and that's really all I've been focused on lately, is trying to show these allegorical forms that have been so invisible for so long. It's again, I'm having a hard time finding words for things. It's getting like that more and more lately, so that's one of the reasons why I like sitting down and writing, because I can really codify and shape what it is I'm trying to say when I have the means to do it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, when we look at all the different things that have been removed from us, and I don't care where in the world you are, because wherever you are in the world, you have been taught to be separate from the rest of the world. They've put up these divisions called borders. They call these different areas in geography countries and counties and states and provinces and cities and boroughs and you name it, all manner of separation. I mean, these are all invisible fences. As I've said before, in all the times I've been flying, either as a passenger or pilot, never once did I happen to see a dotted line outlining a city or a county or whatever. It was just these imaginary, you are now entering the county of. Says who? Says who? Says a sign? Are you kidding me? It's like, I remember this was so funny. It was a perfect answer to this question too. I remember someone had, I guess a couple of cops had walked up to this individual's door, and they had a no trespassing sign out front, and they knocked the door, and he looked at them and said, square in the eyes, and said, did you see the sign? What does the sign say? And they said, well, it says no trespassing. I said, no, it doesn't. He said, no, it doesn't actually. Signs can't talk. That's what you just said, so follow your own advice and off you go. And that for me was a very pivotal moment of realization. Yeah, what does a sign say? A sign doesn't say anything. The sigils are placed there to make you think that it's saying something. And that's, again, part of the illusion we've been trapped in. Trying to go back to a few of the things I touched on earlier today. Very poignant. It was a good show today. I like to think they all are, but sometimes you get in a nice zone, and that's one of the things. And for people listening right now, I do 2 shows on Tuesday. Has to be Tuesday, right? 2, get it? Bad joke. Anyway, and when I do the evening 6 to 8 p.m. UK time, which is early afternoon here, 1 to 3, when I do those shows, I'm in a different headspace. I don't know what it is. It's like I was explaining to Lisa and Paul, and I've probably said this a few times on the air. I am entirely different when I'm being interviewed. And it's not like I'm saying a different message. It's just a different, I'm in a different zone and a different perspective where I don't have this hosting obligation placed on me. I become more freewheeling. And if you know what I'm saying. So for anyone interested, on the Tuesday afternoons, of course, I grab the link afterwards, and I post it on Facebook and in the chat rooms for anyone that wants to grab it, download it. But there's definitely a different flavor, slightly different flavor to those shows as well. Any of the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said about 2 shows on Tuesday, it was 2:22 here my time.
Oh, that's just a coincidence. Take no
notice. Just
look away. Pay no attention to the wizard behind the curtain. Absolutely not. Isn't that funny? But and by the way, I should mention now, and I'll mention it again tomorrow night. But I'm doing a show with Mel V Thursday morning. As soon as I have the link, I will share it with you guys. I believe it's freedomcentral.info is Mel's site. Again, I got a lot of things that I have to try to remember all the time, so if I got that right, whoo, good on you. But again, I'll be on with Mel, and she'll be interviewing me, which is, again, I love that. It's even the interview that didn't get recorded with Janice Barcelo a couple of weeks back, which was kind of unfortunate because it was Janice knows how to ask questions, and she's a great interviewer. She's the one that just did that interview with David Icke, and as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the best Dave Icke interview I've ever heard. Because he got down to some pretty deep brass tacks sort of stuff. And a side of him that you don't generally always see. So, and I know the link got posted up a few times on Facebook, and I'm not sure if I think I did. Anyway, definitely an interview worth listening to. Dave is speaking a lot along the same lines as what I speak of. He comes at it more from the what happened perspective, as to me staying very focused on the unseen, already knowing it's there, and trying to expose it, where it can be brought into the light for everyone else to see it. So, but again, every night to be able to do this, and I'll be blunt, I don't know how I do it either. I'll be perfectly frank on that one. Always honest.
I don't know how you do it, Kate, either, by the way.
I don't. I really don't. I will say that it is the high point of my day when I know I can sit around with you guys and just shoot the shit, shoot the bull, if you will. Where you go, gun down, the team's conversation. Okay, there you go. See the dark things. But getting back to the allegorical thing, when you start seeing things from the allegorical, and I'm really starting to get a handle on it, and it's not an easy thing to describe, but that's why I used the Monty Python example of Sestwika V Trust, 1666, and the skit of Bring Out Your Dead. That is actually a comedic representation of it as an allegory. It's what's happened, right? And that again brings in that whole concept of persona, and the veils and traps that we've consented to on an ethereal level. Oh, there was one thing. That's what I was waiting for this thing to trigger, and it finally did. There was a very dear friend of mine, Derek, who lives in the etherical realms of law as well, where he's on the same page as me, and I love this little note that he sent me. It starts it off with "looky, looky." I'm going to read this out because, again, I see the allegory in it, and it really outlines. Just this paragraph I'm going to share with you guys really outlines the trap of the birth certificate gift without consideration. And here it is. Let me see it. Oh, mouse is working. Excellent. By the way, he is a paralegal and is working courses in he's doing it because he wants to learn. He's actually a comedian, and he was very well known. He was on the brink of, down in California, Hollywood, whatever, of being the next kind of big thing. But he figured, I've already got this and I'm good, and he headed back north here. So here's what Derek shared with me today. Looky, what we covered tonight in my contract class from my textbook. Any of this sound familiar? Big smiley face. Formal contract, also called a deed, in writing and under seal by the promisor. Now, if you look at the birth certificate, of course, it's given under seal. Key phrase, given under seal. Oh, okay, so it means it was given, no consideration, which is a gift, and it's sealed, which is binding. So here we go. There's a little catch here, though. I'll show you how this trap gets sprung at the end. All right. So again, formal contract, also called a deed, in writing and written and sealed by the promisor, or under seal by the promisor. If a contract was written and sealed by the promisor, the formal act of applying the seal to the document was seen as evidence of a serious intention to make and keep a promise. Contracts under seal were the first to be enforced by the courts. So if it's sealed, it has court jurisdiction. That's the point that's being made there. All right. So this is why everything that we deal with in this legal fiction realm is done under seal, because that's what the birth certificate is. It's a promise made under seal. However, there's this little thing about, deceit, non-disclosure. Did you actually tell them what they were promising? No. Okay, then it's null and void. All right, here we go. Where was it? A seal is required to enforce a promise if there is no consideration. The existence of the seal indicates that the party signing the document intends to be bound by the agreement, even when he or she receives no consideration from other parties, as in cases where the promisor is promising a gift to someone. Oh, like maybe a child to the state? Do you see how insidious this is? But here, in the trap, you'll always find the escape. Now, this can be important if, as in tax cases, it matters that a conveyance of something is meant to be seen as a gift and not something else. It is also useful for the document to be signed by the person who witnessed the promisor signing and affixing the seal to the document, which you'll find very sneakily done when mom or dad, specifically and particularly mom, signing a document in hospitals, and of course, if they go down to a registration office, or if that's all handled in house, which it usually is now with the hospital prison ward, prison ward, same thing. Of course, electoral ward. A lot of wards around here, isn't there? Do you really want your just rewards? Didn't think so. All right. Mirror, mirror on the wall. So when I look at something like this, I see the allegory in it. I see the spiritual binding. And I see the obligations that were created, but they were also created without full knowledge. So it's that whole, you can say caveat emptor all you want. But if the intent is to actually deceive somebody, then there is no contract at that point, because the intent was to deceive. How can anyone go into a contract under universal law with an intent to deceive and get away with it? They can't. That's fundamental. All right? And this is the thing that I've been trying to expose, and I'm glad he shared this with me. I will definitely be saving this, copying and pasting it. And I'll do a breakdown of it so that people can see the ethereal allegory contained within it. And this is, I think, what I'm trying to share with people too. Don't look at it for what it is. Look at it for what it isn't. What you cannot see, right? It's like in the song Rescue, it's what you cannot see. You have to look a little bit deeper. You have to go outside the box, beyond the veil. And this is the leap of faith that a lot of people can't get to just yet. Many have. I would hazard to say the vast majority, if not all, of you guys tuned in right now really are starting to get a handle on this. And you're starting to see the surreality of this place, and just how much of the land of Oz that it is, that we've been taught to believe is Kansas and somehow stable. And of course, we in the allegory get picked up in that tornado of truth, where our whole reality, our whole world, our home that is natural to us gets lifted and carried off to a distant land of unknown origin and of magical proportions, where witches and flying monkeys and talking scarecrows and tin men and lions appear, little mini people and all sorts of wonderful good witches and bad witches and what have you. But that's your tornado of truth that you got picked up in, and you got sat down, and we all got sat down in the same place. I know, because I can see you. So that's one of the reasons why I always go to the Wizard of Oz. Peter Pan's another great one. What was Peter Pan looking for when he first met Wendy? Well, he was trying to catch his shadow. He was trying to find his dark side because he'd lost it. And what did Wendy do when Peter finally got a hold of his shadow? She sewed his shadow back on. So something else you might want to look up in Black's Law 9th, now that you can download it for free, look up the word Wendy. Now remember how I told you how to use the code book. If you cannot find the actual word itself, what you do is you find where it would be in that dictionary, and you look as above, so below. You look at the definition before it and the one after it. And lo and behold, your answer will be there. Wend is a tract of land. This is about finding your land again, and that's in an allegorical sense, okay? And we can get into a lot more. I'm probably going to write another couple of papers on this stuff, using only allegory descriptions to really try to lay bare how to look at this place, or at least how I look at it. And if people think that I'm pulling truths out left, right, center, which I feel I am, because these are intuitive, this is why. Because I'm not blinded by the light anymore. Was it you, Ninja, that shared those lyrics with me today? Blinded by the light? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you read those out if you can spot them? That was just one-on-one, you and I, right?
Yeah. I was on YouTube earlier, and I was looking at a video that somebody posted in the chat room, and it caught my eye in the list on the other side of another music video, which was a song called Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann from the 70s. And we were speaking a few days ago about the light agenda and how we need to start going dark to see our own light rather than looking at the external fake light. And so I checked out their lyrics for that song. And
before you read the lyrics, did you say Manfred Mann? Yeah, I thought so.
Manfred. Yeah,
I know.
Manfred Mann. Manfred Mann. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, Well, that's
I see it now.
That's the boy's name, Wilfried.
Yeah. Mm.
Right. Key
but
of
that's
God.
just a coincidence, Kate. Don't look at that. Don't take
any
notice of that.
take the given names before we go into the Manfred Mann thing here. Look at the given name that my parents gave me, the boy version of it, Wilfred Keith. How did I see that? Well, Wilfried, right?
Yeah.
Keith, key of Theos, key of God. So Wilfried by the key of God, and that was again a very early clue for me. So back to the lyrics. Hello, Stephen. I got you in the call, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Hi, Steve.
Hey.
There's a lot of lyric to that song, although a lot of it is repetitive. I just captured an excerpt from it that I thought was relevant to the light thing. It says, "Mama always told me not to look into the eyes of the sun, but Mama, that's where the fun is. Some brimstone, baritone, anticyclone, rolling stone preacher from the east says, quote, dethrone the dictaphone, hit it in its funny bone, that's where they expect it least," end quotes. And I thought that was interesting because we've been speaking about dethroning the program, breaking it down and using humour, because they can't handle humour, they don't understand it. And so I thought I'd share that with you today.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and of course, perfect timing, well placed. Everything is perfect when you see it. And for me, when I see the whole hit it in the funny bone, that's where it least expects it. There's your I never know how to say this word, ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian rule, if you will, that if you laugh at evil in its face 3 times, it will be gone before you get past the second one. And that's exactly how I got rid of that pitiful attempt by the dark little shadow that thinks it's okay to bug people when they're sleeping. Oh, how brave of you, you cowardly little shit. You guys there?
Yes, Kay, I hear you.
Yeah, no. Okay, I can't hear anybody. Can you guys hear me? Steve, can you hear me?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I think Steve must have got bumped then. I just heard somebody drop off Skype. As soon as I hear that, I go, oh, shit. I connect back to the board. End episode now? No, continue show. You know the routine, right?
I guess you shouldn't have added me.
What's that?
I said, I guess you shouldn't have added me.
Oh, no, that's all good. That's all right. We fight through this, my friend. We fight through.
Hi, Steve.
So, yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, so we have Lisa on tonight, and of course Ninja. We don't get visits by Lisa too often, so it's really nice that you decided to pop by and hang out with us lowly people.
Yes, and happy birthday, Lisa.
Pleasure. Oh, thank you.
Oh, right on it. Oh, and we have area code 207 just put their hand up, so let's just get everybody in the fray tonight.
Laughing. It's me again from Maine.
Hey, how are you?
You can just call me Ginger, but I'm laughing my head off sitting here listening. And then all the stuff that I cleaned today, so I put my headphones and all my little cords that connect cameras to things and all that in this little cubby hole in my desk, and I couldn't untangle them, and I'm like, I need to untangle them, I need to call. And then I'm hearing about the humor and how you should be, and I'm just laughing myself sick because I'm trying to call and I'm having humor trying to get there. Anyway, I'm there, but I had to tell you what I was hearing. Blinded by the light, okay?
Yep.
And some of the lyrics that I was hearing, which I didn't catch the whole thing, but something about baritone, right? I think. There was something in there about baritone.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Yeah,
that's
dictaphone.
What I sing in my 4-part harmony. I sing baritone. I'm the baritone person. And that's the one that creates the overtone of the 4-part harmony that I talked about the other night. Really funny. And then the other thing was, my boyfriend's name is Wilfred.
Oh, just a
So
coincidence.
anyway, there's some synchronicity for you.
There you go.
Synchronous event. And that's an unusual name around here. Unusual.
It's an unusual name to begin with. It's not
very unusual in Maine. Excuse me.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's very uncommon.
Yeah. And sometimes people think it's Will Ford, and it's not. It's Wilfred.
Well, that's because of Wilford Brimley, right?
I guess so, but there's a whole bunch of them in that family, and they originated in Canada near Quebec area. So they came into Western Maine. French people. But anyway, I thought that was odd. It was synchronicity, and then I heard about the humor, and I was like, now this is just funny because I was laughing myself sick trying to get on there. Anyway, I'll be quiet now.
Oh, no, your mic's open. Talk away. This is fine. And while I'm at it, we got, before we roll off the air here, we got 17 minutes plus. Just want to do my shout out, as I always do, and nice to have Lisa here listening. Great big thank you to Paul Giovanni and of course Lisa. And yes, they're not married. When I say Paul and Lisa, it can have that overtone to it, but anyway, just teammates, if you will, workers of the same system of beautiful radio. It's awesome. But a great big thank you to criticalmassradio.co.uk for giving us this platform every single night of the week. where we can get together and talk about funny names and funny things and tangled cables and changing universes. You know, this is big for me. This is bigger than life, and the difference right now for me, I'm used to being on a stage where I can see everyone. You know, be it 1, 10, 20, 50,000, doesn't matter. But when it's a different game. I think this has probably been my biggest adjustment. Big game when you look out and you see birds and trees and you don't know how many people you're talking to. Yeah, we get the numbers, but those are just numbers for me. It's when I get the feedback, when I hear from people, when people chime in, when they come on board their table and share their thoughts. That's when it becomes very real for me. So if I sound like I'm begging for people to come on, that's why, because it's got to be real for you and for me, and the more the merrier, you know. It's really that simple. So a great big thank you to Critical Mass, and of course, first birthday we covered this. You know the drill. If you can, great. If you can't, great. We're still going to fight our way through, and I don't care how much they grease this thread. I've got a grip of steel, not letting go.
Kate, can I just say, on behalf of CMR, that it's an absolute and complete pleasure. I'm so glad you found your way here. You're an absolute gem, and it's just been amazing since you've been on here. And yeah, glad you're here.
Well, very glad to be here. And one of the things that I did say, and this will probably sound arrogant, whatever. One of the things I did say to Paul early on, with Tony, myself, and Santo coming aboard, I said, it's nice to have a handful of gems to throw on your crown, isn't it? You know, and he thought it was funny. And that's kind of how it was meant. But you know, I knew. Santo, myself, and Tony, and of course you, and everybody else. And that had to be something very special. That's why I know Critical Mass is where I'm supposed to be, because that's exactly what it is. I'm not waxing eloquence here either. I don't say these things lightly, but I will always speak my mind, and I will always speak truthfully. It's like I've said before. I don't care what color, race, creed, religion, sex, gender, sexual preference, culture, whatever, religion, any of it. I don't care about any of that, because if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. And I will not allow you to crutch on something else. And if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And it's not because of anything other than the fact that you are. And that's the thing.
Well, Kate, what we absolutely love about you, is the fact that you do speak your mind, because that's just so you, and it's fantastic. It's so refreshing, and I've got to say, I do feel overawed with all you guys. Although I feel I'm meant to be here also. So it's
Absolutely, you know, and there's the thing too. I don't know if you caught the little story I shared last night with someone that called me and were effectively in awe of me actually answering the phone. My attitude is, why wouldn't I? You called.
Yeah.
You know, is this you, Gaia? Yeah. You called my number. and again, and the lesson here that I'm trying to share with people, and this is the one thing that I'm, for me, this is the major cause of duality. It's when we start putting people above or below us. This is about, and my whole philosophy is about leveling the stage. Big bulldozer. Just make it all level, make it all flat for everybody to walk equally on. Because we are all equal, all one. And the minute somebody tries, I talked about this on the show, the minute someone tries to put me on a pedestal is the minute I start cutting the legs out. And I won't allow it.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that happens when people get put on a pedestal as a savior of sorts, whatever the case may be, as soon as something doesn't work, what happens to that pedestal? It gets kicked out from under them, because everybody loves to hate a winner. That's why I will not tolerate it. And it's not because I don't appreciate people, and you know, I do get the concept, but I'm trying to break that program with people, because everyone is equally important to everyone, regardless of anything. You cannot put a label on this. This is being one. And that's all I'm interested in. That's the road I'm on. That's where my yellow brick road is leading. Found Emerald City, and I'm journeying beyond the Emerald City now. I know who I am. I know who you are. You guys are the world changers. You're at the tip of the spear. You know, there's nothing more powerful than the heart of a volunteer. Nothing. Because you're doing it because you want to, because you are driven to, because you know intuitively that you have to. This is your journey, and nothing will get in your way. Nothing. Oh, you have little trips up here and there because that's just the way this game works, right? It's like I read part of it out last night. I added a whole bunch more to it that I read on the show today for the Summons of the Dead. But I mean, the point of that is trying to convey to these entities that the very people that we have been so entrained and indoctrinated to respect and look up to and, you know, pedestal, you know, these funny looking people in, you know, really freaky looking robes and shit, whether it's a courthouse or a church or whatever, somehow that makes them different, special. Makes them look like a retard to me personally. They don't know.
Snap, yeah.
They don't know how to accessorize. I will say one thing about Pope Benedict, though. He had these really nice red shoes that matched his red gown. You know, at least he went out and bought the right fucking suit. Yeah?
That's because the Wicked Witch chased everyone to the Emerald City in fear, and we've met all the little munchkins, and we've seen how they adored the wizard, and we loved riding on the coach with the painted horses. And when we went around and around, and we wound up in the same damn circle. So then we put on our ruby slippers and said, it's time to get the hell out of here. And the good witch said she'd help us because we're going back home now.
We've always had the ability. And we're in that hour. The 11th hour, guys? Oh, we're past that. We're in the hour. And things are changing real quick.
Oh, I thought of something when you mentioned about the Hawaiians and the, what was it, face evil 3 times, and by the second time it's gone.
Laugh in the face of evil, yes.
Yeah, there you go. That kind of reminds me of the saying, using you as an allegory, I guess, you know, when someone tells a dumb joke and nobody laughs, and you go, oh, forgot to laugh. Everybody laugh on 3. 1, 2, oh, couldn't wait. You know, and on number 2, it's all gone.
Exactly. And by the way, for those of you that cannot tell a joke or tell really bad jokes and you think it's funny, it's okay. We get it. Okay? And it's not your fault. It's true, man. And really, and you laugh just to be polite. Just don't tell. That. But whatever floats their boat, if it makes them happy, I'm happy, right? I'll just be happy because they are, and I think that's great. But you know, it's so true though. Those beautiful moments of complete uncomfortableness, and better yet, if you know the joke and you know it's going to be a really bad one, you just kind of have to grit your teeth and you know, let the one creating it create it, right? So, but I've met many of those people in my life, and
Speaking of music,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was going to say, I'll finish off the concept here. It's just met many people in my life that just tell bad jokes, and I've met others that just had me in stitches. You know, so there are all kinds. Whoa! What the hell was that?
Wow, that was loud.
I don't know, but it hurt.
Yeah, did somebody put their mic up to the speaker or what? Here, let's see what feedback happens. Ow! That was like an 8K spike. That just cut right through.
Definitely.
There you go.
That's a real zinger.
Yeah, the ears are now welded shut. What did you have to say, Steve, now that I can't hear you?
I hope it wasn't me. I heard it too. I hope it wasn't me because I used to be the sound person for my chorus.
Oh, who knows?
It's bad if I made a mistake like that.
Oh,
it don't matter. It was all fun.
No such thing as a mistake. It actually made a good point. So no.
Yeah,
perfect.
Except for if it took people's ears out, that's not good. We don't want to take hearing away from people.
Well,
I still got Morse code going on, so don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
Taking the hearing away from people? No, chances are some people might need that frequency blasted out so they can hear things properly. Good and evil at the same time. See?
Well, no, but I heard some weird things, and I was like, man, then I heard that, and I thought, did I do that? I hope not.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, well, I hope I didn't. Anyways, I'm sorry if I did.
That's all right.
Can you hear me now?
Hey.
We'll let you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
We lost Carol on the call there.
Maybe it was something to do with hers. I don't know.
I
have headphones on though, so I do have a mic.
Headphones
with a mic. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that won't do it. So it might have been because you dropped off. I didn't see exactly when, but if you dropped that off at the same time, then that might have been a reaction sound to it. No big deal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I do want to mention to people, and Steve, I need your thought because you're still holding it. If you want to call in for the rollover into the recording, you can call in at area code 661-467-2401. That's area code 661-467-2401. And of course, if you're listening, of course, online, just refresh the page you're listening on. And if the Skype button isn't there right now, when you refresh, it will be. You might have to do it once or twice, but just click on the Skype button, and it will redirect you, and just follow the bouncing ball, and that way you can get on the board, and you're going to listen in. And you have to do that in the next 5 to 6 minutes, or you can wait for the archive. Either way, it works, you know. But anyway, Stephen.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
Well, you were talking about music allegories, lyrics, and I sent you a link over this morning. Ninja and I were talking about earlier today. The song "Stuck in the Middle with You" by Steeler's Wheel.
Yes.
And those words are quite entertaining.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Starts out, "I don't like anything tonight. I got feeling something ain't right. I'm so scared. I guess I'll fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle of you."
Exactly. And boy, don't we feel like that most days, huh? Walking amidst clowns and jokers. Generally, the clowns are in the suits with the funny-looking badges and the 9mm penis extensions on their hip, girls included. And the jokers, well, they'll be the ones sitting at the pulpits in church and politics. So
I do have a 9mm, so.
Oh, do you? I used to have 2 of them. They got stolen by the cops. Yeah. I had 2 collector. They were collector pieces. That's all. The only reason I had them. P38s.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that a long time ago. They cleaned you out.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, they cleaned everything out. 1944, 303. Totally well, of course they're lethal, but just the only thing we had were old, typically single shot, of 22 semi-automatics, the kind of thing.
Well, they tried to take mine that night they were here, but I refused to allow them entry into my home, and even after they tasered me and handed me and hauled Susan and I away, they were too damn chicken shit to get into my house. So,
well, see that.
I had a 9mm sitting outside on the picnic table, and they left it.
And I'll tell you something else too. That's exactly why they kidnapped me before the cowardly bastards. And that's all they are. They're just cowards. They're children in fear. Smash your door, and there's Sue and my youngest Hillary doing the dangerous thing of baking cookies. Yeah, and I was criminally insane because I took my daughter to a birthday party. Yeah. This is what we're dealing with. This is the insanity we're dealing with, and this is what we need to heal, right? That's why I'm handing it all back to them. And I'm going to hand it back in such a way that the whole world is going to see it. And I told former chief, who got his ass handed to him because of he just couldn't let go of the hard-on he had on for me. And they never saw me in a skirt either, which is kind of funny. But, this whole chasing down and, you've no idea the level of harassment I was going through. Sue and the girls didn't know. No one knew, really. But I'll tell you, I told Davis, I said, you know what, buddy, I'm going to make you world famous. I put Guelph on the map with a world record. I know how to do it. I got 4 world records to my name. Yeah, Guinness Book of World Records even. So I know the world stage. And I know that it's not that difficult to do when you put the intent to it. Everyone can change the world. I've done it many times. I didn't think I could at one time, and then, of course, it happened, and lo and behold, there you go. It's very easy. It's not that difficult. So guess what I'm doing? I'm making everybody that was part and parcel to this criminal activity, that things that I would never do to another human being, I'm going to make them world famous. And they're going to love it.
You bet. See, they didn't bother to read my name before they came out to my house, because my name is Stephen Keith. Stephen meaning the crown and king, and Keith meaning the key of God.
There you go.
They were screwed before they even started.
Yeah, you think? And what are they going to do? Try to put shackles on me? You should see what I sound like in shackles.
You're Irish bitch.
Yeah, you think I'm a nasty bitch? See me in a courtroom and the faces on the judges dropping quick, and Crown prosecutors like DeVos can't even look me in the eyes because he knows he's committing a felony against a human being, a living one, not one of his dead fucking personas. You know, this guy couldn't even look me in the eye. And I've said this before, and I love bringing this up because this is what people need to see and what they need to feel to remove the fear. Get rid of the fear. There is nothing to fear with these wankers. There really isn't.
Really. I stood in front of two judges, and neither one of them would look up from their desk at me.
No.
Nobody would make eye contact with me.
You know, it's just nice to watch them shake in the proverbial non-matching accessorized booties, right? But I looked at this guy, DeVos. I just stared at him, and he's looking down in his book, and he's talking and whatever. And I said, you know something? You know what you're doing is criminal, and you know that I know who I am. And you're such a fucking coward. You can't even look me square in the eye, right? And I looked at the judge, and I looked at DeVos. Of course, he didn't look up because he's a coward. These guys know they're cowards. Yeah. They just don't like getting called on it. So that's me being the mirror. You know, if you want to take me out, then let's go at it. Let's go, mono, whatever I am. Okay. You want to take this downtown? How about you and me? Let's have a little chat. Let's see who actually has the truth and who is the one that is so bought and paid for and sold out to this illusion. Let's see which one comes out of that mix. And that's what people need to get into. They in their position. I'm not saying this is not about being belligerent either. This is about being certain of yourself. You know, I've had plenty of time in my life to be afraid. And as I said the other night, the difference is it's not that I don't sense fear. I know what it is now, and I just put it aside. So it does.
When you always bring up a really good point all the time, that it's not in belligerence, it's not in anger, it's not it's not being vindictive. It's standing in the honor and the knowledge of who you are and what they are, and being strong with yourself.
And shining a bright mirror at them, and they don't like it. And really, that's exactly it. This is all about just standing, nothing more. I've got an essay, When Will You Stand? I think I'll pass it over to you, Ninja, and we can throw that up on cateofgaia.wordpress.com.
That, excuse me, just to jump in for a second, but that is a concept I'm hearing in a lot of places lately. That's one that's resonating very strongly right now.
And the people are standing.
You need to stand. That's it.
God, we've been standing for years and years.
But many people haven't. They run as the first sign of anything that makes them nervous. They run, and they need to stand there. They need to stand there if that's all they can do. I've heard that many places lately, diverse places.
You just stand, and you bring up a very valuable point, and I go back to the early days, 3.5 years ago. Actually, I filed my new core 3 years ago, on the 26th of May. So that is technically how long I've been in the movement, 3 years. And I got to tell you, I guess I caught on to stuff pretty quick early on, and for some reason people gravitated. And then the Judge Bows thing came out, and of course they gravitated even more. Kate's going to be a savior. I knew my shit, and I knew how to handle courts, and I knew how to handle lawyers. They didn't scare me. But again, I was still stuck in that whole legalese illusion and all the rest of it. I knew how to maneuver in it because it was just word games. That's all it was for me. It's like doing a crossword. And I got to tell you, all these people, and I had things at my place with gatherings of these people, anywhere from 60 to 90 people in my backyard. Where were they when things started getting a little? Where did they go? You never seen sovereigns and free men? Are you kidding me? They run the fastest of all. There's only been a handful of those originals, people like Mark Hollywood and Dean Clifford and Andrew Patterson, and the list goes. It's not that long, but I'll tell you, I knew early on who the ones were going to be able to stand in their own position. Whether I agreed with it or not doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. I have my road, they have theirs. They have their piece, I have mine, and we put them all together. And look, we figured it out. It's just about having the wherewithal. You have to get to the point of I've had enough, and that's where we are for a lot of people. They've just had enough. And
those that won't stand are the ones that are phony to themselves. They just started into this. They're playing a game with it that's not their true reality. Back when I was 15 years old, just to give you a quick little story. It's something that really impressed me. I left home when I was 15, and I took off hitchhiking around the country down here in the U.S. And it was 1973, and I wound up out in Loveland, Colorado. And of course, in Colorado in those days, might still be today, I don't know, but it was illegal to hitchhike, period, in the state of Colorado. And, of course, I never paid much attention to signs, so I just hitchhiked into town. And I was picked up by the local cops, and middle of the night I was sleeping in the park next to the lake, and took all my money, and took me out to the edge of town and said, don't come back and don't let us catch you hitchhiking again. Well, it's kind of hard because they took all my money, so I couldn't take a bus. So I went ahead and just till daybreak, hitchhiking again. Little old lady picked me up. She had to be probably pushing 80 years old. I got in her car and I said, I found out it's illegal to hitchhike in this state. Are you sure you want to do this? And she said, honey, I've been around since before these people were born. She goes, I've always done what I want to do, and I'll always do what I want to do. She said she'd like to go up to Estes Park and enjoy the mountains. And I said, yes, ma'am, I would. And she gave me the most wonderful ride. And that's just the way things are. You just have to stand.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, Mono Ashino. I love it. That's funny. Yeah, but that's so true. And there is a very valuable life lesson at a very critical age, And I would hazard to say that was a pivotal point for you. And a change in your own road, if you will. So those are the kind of gifts that, the things that I look back on that were very critical for me, that were my critical mass, changed so much, and my direction. It gave me a different road to walk on. So, yeah. Sorry, just getting tagged here. Jim just tagged me, and. Oh, okay. Yep, absolutely. Yep, still recording. Still on the air. All right. So where do you guys want to go now? This is great, And Jennifer, right? Did I get that right? Maine.
Oh, no, not Jennifer. I never said a name. I go by Ginger when I'm online.
Oh, Ginger. Okay. Sorry, that's my bad.
That's all right.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
All right.
That's my pseudonym, and I'm one of those people that's kind of flying under the radar to protect people around me because I certainly like to be open, and someday I'll be having to, be more open about that. But
that's okay.
Right now,
that's okay.
I am still fighting the fight, and I am standing. I'm one of those people that's standing very much, and it's not very comfortable. Obviously, it's not the thing that most of us would choose, and I heard you say that the other day too. There are things we could be doing, but this is what we're called to do, and so we do it.
Yeah,
and it's out of love. It's totally out of love. That's the reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone had mentioned today about, exactly that same feeling of, you're alone in your area. Well, of course you are. We're spread out around this planet. We are the net. We are the dragnet that is going to be dragging the garbage off to where it needs to be off to.
I'm intrigued whether or not we're related, honestly, because the people that I run into that are of similar mind, I just feel like, it seems like we seem to be coming from the same areas of the Earth.
Well, we're the real species of humans.
That's it.
I guess, because, some of the things I've been observing in the last few years, and as I'm learning more and more about the various, people, some aren't really people. But anyway, as I learn more about the entities around me, as I should say, I'm just stunned, because I've always wondered why I could notice such differences in those that I know and not be able to figure it out. It's always bothered me. I mean, I would just try to figure it out, why are these people this way, and why can't they see what I see? I can't understand it. It must be the way they were brought up or something. But it wouldn't be that, because it would be, several people in the same family and have very, very different outlooks on things.
Well, again, different perspectives of consciousness, that's all it is.
Well, I think some of it is, just totally the way someone's born, some of it. Because I have, I have people in my, family who absolutely have no feelings of nurturing at all, and they never have. And I would just think, well, if I keep, showing them, they'll get it. And they don't get it. They just don't get it. They don't even understand what I'm talking about.
Well, I need you to be the good rescue diver and swim away.
Yeah, because they want you to be the savior, and Kate's right. You got to be the good rescue diver and swim away. Just like I said last night about my cousin Tom, about drowning my damned ass. And you just can't. There's people you can't help. We all come back for various reasons, and the ones who are not of us, they come back too, time and again, and we keep interacting.
Until they get it.
Yeah,
well,
or until we decide not to come back.
I'm talking about somebody different than that. I know there are those too, but I'm going to give my example as my father. My father's going to be 93 years old this summer. If he's got dementia now, but he always was the same way as he is now, only now it's intensified. But his personality was such that it was just no one could figure out why he was so different. He has basically no, I want to say he doesn't really have an ability to love in the way that a person I assume we all are. We don't really know each other, but how I feel is that I really love people. It doesn't matter whether I know them or not. I love them anyway. I would go help them if I saw them in distress. My father would see them and say, why would I stop? I don't know them.
Ginger, he's infected. He's infected by the archons and probably has been for quite a few reincarnations, and he's not going to change. Yeah. He's gone through it long enough that he has given himself over to it, and the parasite exists and it controls. That's all there is to it. He can't do anything about it.
It was a line of that in that side of the family. A complete. I mean, I can see it now that I know more. But when my mother was alive, she would say to us, she'd go, "You're never going to change your father." And I'd go, "Well, don't you think it's time somebody did something to change that? Because that's not right what he does. He has
Ginger,
no nurturing quality."
Let me jump in here, and I can probably explain it for you. Okay? It's really, really easy. What your father probably doesn't have is a prefrontal lobe.
Yeah.
That's part of the genetic invasion. Okay, this is where Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon separated, and the Cro-Mags don't have the prefrontal lobe. You'll notice them by having a less protrusive forehead. You'll see a lot of these people in power. Their forehead kind of tilts back, and that's because they don't have any space for a prefrontal. And that is a genetic part of the genetic flaw that came onto this planet. And the consciousness that is your dad just so happens to be possibly in one of those. So there's nothing. And here's the other thing too. And I need people to really get this. I need you to get this. Okay? Stop breaking universal law. You're stepping all over free will choice. Okay? When you think you want to go out and change somebody, you are trespassing on their willingness to not want to be changed, and you are breaking universal law, and it is going to smack you in the face until you stop. Be the good rescue diver and swim away.
Right.
Use the mirror.
That was in the past. That was actually in the past. That was when I was probably in my 30s or so. Now I'm in my 60s. But I understand what you're saying, and I am very much one of those people. Actually, if I ever sound like I'm saying that, it isn't what I mean, because I totally believe that people need to make their own choices in life and give every amount of space for that to occur that I can. I mean, I try really hard not to do it, because when I see someone in distress and they seem to be asking for help, I try to help them. And I know that there is a line where it isn't help anymore. But it's hard to find it with everyone, because it's not the same with everyone. Some people want more help, some want less. But I know what you're saying. I understand that. And when people would say, they talk about my father or something, and I would say, well, you don't understand. He's not like Daddy. Like people would say, Daddy. You don't go to him with anything, because
a progenitor.
Like
that's all he is, a progenitor. And it's not. I'm not making a judgment or an assessment here. What I am sharing is fact. And these are the things that we have to learn to walk away from.
Right.
In as much as you don't want to. There's your test, though, isn't it? I use what's called the cookie jar effect. This is where free will choice is left alone for the individuals to choose the path they want. There's, Stairway to Heaven. Isn't it funny, by the way? I was last night. I went after the show and everything was done. I came outside and I hear this music, and it's the lead section for Stairway to Heaven. And what I had been thinking about was Jacob's Ladder and a few other things and a couple of concepts. And there goes the bike, Stairway to Heaven, right? The lead section. But the cookie jar effect is this. You tell a kid they can't have a cookie out of the cookie jar. Where's the first place they want to go? Right.
Yeah.
So use it. That's the mirror. I'd say, another one is, if you ever hear anyone talking about, some conspiracy or whatever, I like to use 9/11 as an example. That's probably one of the funniest ones. And I mean that quite literally. But all the people, see, you're buying it. Stop. All right. Someone will say, well, 9/11 is 9/11. What the hell's that? Well, what do you mean? 9/11. What is that? Oh, you don't know about September 11th, 2001? And no, what happened? And you let them convince you. And then, of course, you let the cat out of the bag and just have fun with it. But it's about turning it over. It's about empowering people to come look for it for themselves. Be the light. The moths will come, right? All the moths are too busy looking at the street lights and the car lights and the movies and all the rest of these lights that are dazzling them into non-existence, right? So, well, don't be a tool, use them. So be the light. And give the moths another light to come to. If you're smiling all the time and you're, creating a difference here and there, where, the ego goes, oh, somebody's got a better thing going on, and I'm going to go over and check it out. And again, there's the tool. The ego is a perfect tool. It's so easy to use. I mean, it was used against us. It can also be used for us. If people need their egos and they live in them, that's fine. Then utilize them. Learn how to use the tools we have. And then they have free will choice. If you want to come to my table, this show that people are tuned into right now, they're here of their own free will choice. I didn't drag them. I just threw links out. That was my intent. Throw it out there. I'll plant the seeds and see what catches. People show up. That's their choice. Nothing to do with me. And if they don't like what I'm saying, they also have the choice of going click, and I'm good with that too. Doesn't matter to me. And by the way, I just want to do a shout out for Amelia, Holly, and Nav John who are in the room. Please feel free to put your hand up. I'd love to hear from you. Ninja, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, Kate, just to interrupt you there on the end of your thought. For Ginger, I think what I'm hearing, what you're saying, discussing your father, is that you perhaps, if I'm wrong, forgive me, it seems to me you're really trying to struggle and deal with your own grief, but having a father who isn't a dad. And the only thing I want to say to you on that is, some of us didn't have a father at all. So it's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of that's what you were dealt. They're the cards and you play them, right?
Yeah. It isn't really that it isn't really that as much as
that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's because we don't, we have to talk in short periods rather than we don't really know each other very well. My father was wonderful to grow up around because he was extremely smart and very, very into teaching us. But what I mean is, you couldn't climb into his lap and have, dad like people would think. So they would say, like, how's your dad doing? How are things going with your dad and all this stuff? And they would just assume that it's like because of their mindset that it would be a certain way.
Ginger,
and it's he's like a relative to me.
Stop.
That's what he's like.
Ginger.
We're all on the same page, Ginger. You need to let this go.
We love you, but you're being a crybaby.
Yeah, I can hear your heart, hon, and
I love you.
And honestly, you've already made your beautiful heart known. We get it. Let it go. Otherwise, it's going to drag you down and keep you in a very low vibe. And we need you.
Oh, my
you.
Dad, you mean?
What's that?
Is that what you mean, my dad?
Yeah, just let go of what you think you need to change about it. Your
I
dad's
don't
your dad.
try to change him at all now. I was talking about the past mostly.
Mm-hmm. No, I realize
I'm not trying to change him now. I just talk to him every day and tell him I'm glad that he's having a good day. That's what I tell him.
All you need to tell your dad. Here, okay, I'm gonna throw the anvil into the lake here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm right on page with Steve and Ninja. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share something with you. May of 2011, I got to watch my dad getting poisoned to death through chemotherapy and radiation treatment. Yeah. I got to endure that. He was 72 years old when he left. Okay, how old's your dad? 93?
My dad will be 93. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I you know what I call that? I call that a blessing, and I think in that regard, I'm going to say you had, 20 plus years more than I, and obviously I'm giving you the perspective here, okay? I'm not giving you shit. I'm just trying to get you outside of this box that you're in. All right? Ninja, she never had a dad.
My dad died at 55 years of age.
There you go.
1985.
So count your blessings.
My mother died when she was 56 of chemo and cancer, pancreatic. I watched her die. I watched my husband die.
Well, you still have your dad, so enjoy it. Be grateful.
Yeah.
It isn't about my dad, really.
No, it's not. It's about you.
It's about you. It's not about your dad at all. We already know that, and that's why we're here to help. Let go. Yeah. You got to let go. You're trying to change something. What you're holding on to.
What are you thinking I need to let go of?
I don't know. You know what it is.
I'm not getting.
Well,
my father.
Ginger, you're talking about, you've just spent the last, I don't know, however many minutes talking about 30 years ago. That's all history, darling. It's a different world than it was 30 years ago. And so, you seem like a very loving, intelligent being, and I'm sure you can see that you're relying too much on the past to influence and keep you from looking forward and enjoying the future.
We need your light, hon. Okay, we do. I'm telling you that.
I think you're missing what I said because I'm not. That isn't what I was saying at all. So that's why I'm confused.
I give up.
I give up too. I'm going to play the cookie jar here. Sorry, I can't help you. You can't hear what we're saying, so that's okay.
I'm the rescue swimmer swimming away, but I love you, darling.
Absolutely. Okay. Now we need your light. Okay. And right now,
you already have it. You don't.
No, I don't.
What
I have, at least what I'm observing, I have is a very cloudy sky. I don't see much light. That's my point. All right, you're caught in it. I need you out of that web. I need you to let go of anything you ever thought your dad could have been, should have been, would have been. It's got no relevance to you.
I already have, though. That's what I don't understand.
No,
Why
you haven't.
I haven't.
Well, you brought it up.
I was talking about in generalities about people that are like that don't seem to have that emotion. That's all. They don't seem to have that nurturing trait or whatever it's called.
Yes, and that is something that affected you, obviously. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear it in your heart, hon. Sorry, you can't fool me. Not maybe. You can't fool my intuition. You can't fool my empath.
I don't remember
everything.
having it as a loss. I don't remember that. I don't.
Well,
if it's there, I didn't see it. No, I don't see it.
All right. Well,
my mother was the nurturer. She did it instead. So it isn't that.
All right. Well, let's move along because this has just gone circular now. Okay. No, I'm not being hard on you. I'm just going circular, and it's going nowhere. And we're about solutions, and we're about getting past these things. Yeah, there's lots of things that what you're talking about here. The energy I'm getting from you is regret. Okay, so we need to get past that.
Okay, that's odd because I'm not having regret, so I don't know why you're getting that. I didn't even think of regret at all. That's why I don't know why you're getting that.
Well, because you're feeling it, and whether you're aware of it or not, I'm feeling it.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to share. Again,
I'll
this
think
is
about it, but I don't get it.
I don't want you to.
I'm hearing you.
I don't want you to think about it. I want you to feel about it. There's a difference.
I don't feel any regret at all. I'm not going to go looking for regret that I don't have.
All right. Well,
that would be like
talk.
Looking for trouble.
Well, let's talk about what you can do, shall we?
Sure. I'm all about that too. That's what I do all the time. Mm-hmm. I always look for solutions.
Right. Well, don't look for them. Be it.
I am that too. I just don't know the words yet. But I'm also solutions. That's what I do all day long. It's solutions.
All right.
I'm learning. I'm liking it, and I like the idea that you also said that you're not really learning. You're actually remembering, and that's exactly how I feel about it. I just may not use the right words. That's all.
So let's have a look at the allegories. And what, again, the presentations that are given to us in complete allegorical form. Can we see them? And again, this is a fairly new concept for a lot of people, and it's really only it started to kick in with me last November when I was looking through Gravity Falls and looking for the allegories contained within it, and seeing what it was presenting to me allegorically, not literally. I mean, if you watch the cartoon literally, it's cute and everything else, but when you look at it allegorically, it's an entirely different thing. It's where you're looking to see truth versus being simply entertained. You'll find that in pretty much everything. I won't say pretty much. You'll find it in everything. Every part of your life, everything you've experienced was complete allegory. What are you needing to see of it? And this is where this for me is the true awakening, or the true awareness of seeing the illusion for what it really is, and not taking it literally. Again, this is holographic. There's nothing literal here. It's like my mom and dad came through my life, and I see the allegories, and I see the purposes behind it, and the things that I needed to withstand to find myself. It's not about, they were their own consciousness, and of course part of me and you and all of us. Just like your dad is, we're all still part of consciousness. We're all just at different rungs of the ladder on Jacob's ladder. So the real trick here is to observe people, the other aspects of you, your experience culmination in you, to see whereabouts on that allegorical ladder they are. Right? Then what we were talking about earlier with Lisa, with resonance, when you walk into a room full of people that are talking the same and resonating the same, they do. They feel like family. That's why people come to the table here are family, because we're all resonating, ringing that same bell, and that's, you need to get out of of what looks to be literal, and look at it for what it is, allegorical. What are the lessons there for you to remember? And that's it. These are your breadcrumbs. You've got yours. I got mine. Steve's got his. Ninja, Lisa. We all got our own breadcrumbs. But here's the thing. They're all leading to the same place. And that is the absolute beauty of this perfection of creation. Even as quagmire seems to be, there's a lesson to be had here. And we have our consciousness at a point where we can start to see it. And yeah, it is my wish that I could share this with everybody all of those that you know came at me, I was only trying to, believe it or not, I was only trying to help them. You know, imagine how a cop will feel when they actually get enough IQ points and sit down and listen long enough without the jarhead effect going on, where you tell them that the mortgage is fraud and this is how it needs to be solved and this is this, and you know, when you waken these people up, so much for their armed dogs, and that's where we got to go. We got to wait. We don't have to wake them. Here's what we need to do. We need to bring our own awareness up, our own vibration, and we need to get to that high ground. And this is where we're standing now. And it's not that to be better. This is about getting into a state of heart where we all resonate at a higher frequency, and as a result, being the dominant frequency in the room, the other frequencies have to come up. This is how you change those without, because when you change it within, you are now bringing yourself up to a higher level. As a net result, someone that's resonating close to you but slightly less than has to come up to meet you. That's how nature works. That's universal law. And a very powerful tool once you become cause over it instead of being an effect to it all the time. And when we look around and we see the problems that people, you know, seemingly have, including our own issues and what have you, I had quite a walk through the muck to, you know, feeling sorry for myself and all the rest of it to get where I am. And I have a problem with that. I mean, I can look at it and go, you know, what a whiny bitch, right? But I'm in a new unit of now, you know, and that's the thing. The past is past, and breath is in now, and this is where we power up and where we shine our light. There is no past and there is no future. There is only now, and we've been taken out of it with this illusion of time. So it's time to get busy with you, and I'm talking with everybody here, and me. I'm you as well. All right. This is where we get into our dark, where we get into that darkest place in the center of our bodies, where our heart is. Not a whole lot of light going there as far as external, but I'll tell you, there's one hell of a light glowing, because that's where you are. Scientifically proven, less. Have you heard that part yet? You know, science has proven that there's a little energy point inside your heart that's sitting between 3,000 and 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You wondered how the body stayed warm? That's what consciousness is. That's why we have warm-blooded versus cold-blooded. That's why we call them cold-blooded killers, because they don't have heart, they don't have consciousness there, and they can't. They're basically automatons. And that's the archons we speak of. They can never vibrate to the joy and bliss frequencies. It's out of their realm. The only ones that they can vibrate with and control are fear, greed, lust, envy, jealousy, hatred, all the low tones. That's where they live. That's the only vibrational level they can manipulate you at. So when we're in these wallowing moments, or you know, self-pity, or depression and fear and all the rest of it, we're easy to push around, because we're at the mercy of our own emotions. So this is where we take the reins back. And as I explained earlier, it's not about not experiencing the emotions. Experience them, please. Just don't live them. Don't be the emotions. Pass through them. And allow yourself, because when you think that something, fear, is evil, then you're missing the good of it. And you've put yourself in another duality. You got to look at fear as being a good thing. It's been great for me in that it's been something that has empowered me by confronting it. That's where I learned to love, by handling the fear. That's where the unconditional parts of me came into play, right? And that's not an easy task. And I'm not saying it is. And I'm not going to, hey guys, it's just as, you know, click your heels together 3 times and you're in Canada. No. There's a bit more to it. We have to walk the yellow brick road first, and we'll know when we can click our heels. Don't worry, Glenda will be standing there going, "Told you." Mini rant over. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Oh, hell yeah.
It kind of does. It does. I mean, I believe...
what do you mean kind of does? She just spent all this time with you, and it kind of does?
Well, I'm like listening to it because the words mean a lot to the people that are here. I can tell that if there's the wrong word, that it jumps out like a flag or something. And I'm not used to speaking so carefully about things, because for one thing, I work with contractors. So, and I know that a lot of people here know about contractors. We just do stuff. We just take care of stuff. And so I'm like,
Ginger, we're not talking about words. Ginger, we're not talking about words. We're talking about feelings.
Yeah, it's about
we can feel what's coming from you, and we're just trying to give back all in love, my dear.
But you're making assumptions because of words that are said.
Whoa,
then
don't
how
you
are you knowing what my feelings are?
I don't know.
No.
I'm out of here. Sorry, bye.
Yeah, that's...
I see a tricky little bastard. Anyone else?
I real fucking tricky little bastard.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, all good. It's all fun. It's all great.
It's all good. It's got nothing to do with... Yeah, no worries, Stephen. It's got nothing to do with the words, hon. And that is... there are no assumptions here. See, I won't question my feelings on things, ever. And when I feel something, that's when I know it's what it needs to be. And, someone can look at me, and it happens quite regularly. People look at me square in the eye and lie to my face. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want to me. Unfortunately, I don't hear with my ears. I hear with my heart. I feel.
I absolutely know if somebody's lying to my face. I know the minute I see their face that they're lying to me.
Yeah. Oh, there's some good ones out there. There's definitely some good ones out there, but do not think we're assuming anything. I don't assume my feelings. I just experience them. All right? And I won't hand that to anybody else either. I won't tell anybody what they're thinking or what they're feeling. I can only know what I'm seeing and feeling from my own experience. So there you go. I know, Stephen. I know. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, the TLB, eh? But it's good. It's good practice. It really is. And that's not
we all need it, and I wasn't trying to be...
No, you weren't.
At all.
I know.
We're all in the same boat. We all fell down the hill, and we're all climbing back up, reaching down. And I'm reaching down to the one below me to help up, and the one above me is reaching down to help me. So we're all in this game together.
Exactly. Again, and it's... everything given out here is only given out with the purest intent. There's nothing I want more than bright, shiny lights out there. If people can be that, great, and if they can't, great. I'm not going to trespass on the choice of emotion or one that they choose to live in. If they want to live in the illusion, that's fine. I think the point you made earlier, Stephen, with regards to archons getting a grip on individuals, yeah. And unfortunately for them, they've just got a longer road to walk, but they'll get there eventually. Consciousness always does. We're on our way home, all of us, even the archons.
When that happens, is that something that happens to individuals, or does it happen in series of people, generationally in families?
No, it's again, this is where we need to get out of the meat stick mentality, and that's where we're firmly planted right now. I need you to get out of that. Because you can't look at and I'll be very blunt, you can't look at your dad and think it matters to you. It doesn't. That's a consciousness that was a dad and a mom and a sister and a brother, and who cares what else, countless lifetimes before, and will be again until they figure it out. And this is the whole thing. There's nothing more divisive than the perceived family unit. Somehow that because you're blood related to somebody, that there's ownership involved. No. You got to break that paradigm right bloody quick. Right quick. Because that is a trap. That's the biggest one of all. This illusion of family. At what point are you not my family?
Ginger, if you go
the ownership
to
thing is strange to me. Excuse me. Sorry.
That's okay. If you would go to on YouTube and go to Dr. Bruce Lipton. And look up, he's got several YouTube videos on there, but there's one called As Above, So Below. And it talks specifically, he's a cellular biologist, and he talks specifically about the fact that genetics are not passed on, that genetics are made up from our perceptions of reality.
Exactly. Steve, take the floor for a sec. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, it really is, and it was really a connect the dot for me, and it may really help you because I had a lot of the same issues that you've had, and we all have. I mean, we all come down the same pike. But we've always been taught, and most of what we've been taught has been wrong, but we've been taught that we are genetically historically genetic. In other words, if we have cancer in our family, then we are predisposed to have cancer because of our genes that were passed on by our parents. And that is not the case. There's been a lot of great science done just in recent years. Bruce Lipton has been working on this for probably in the 40-year area, and a lot of it is coming out. And I think that video would help connect the dots a lot to you as far as how what we perceive in reality tells our mind which chemicals need to be released to create the proteins to feed the cells. And if the genes need a certain protein, and I can't explain this like him. I'm not a damn cellular biologist, but that's why I say go to this video. He does a really good job of laying it out on how science and astrotheology, or whatever you want to call it, comes together. And this may help you understand a little more about where you're at in this process. So check it out.
Yeah, I actually understand a lot of that stuff because, I do have background in different things like that. I do read a lot about all kinds of stuff. I have a wide range of interests.
Well, this is a little different. This is a little different research.
Right. As far as the ownership of people within a family unit or anything like that, actually, I'm on a little bit different wavelength than what you may think I am, because what my curiosity is exactly what you're saying, which is how can you have 5 people in the same family and have them all be so entirely different? And
exactly.
And when they were in close proximity, supposedly sharing the same values, supposedly sharing the same experiences, how can they be so different? And it's not a thing of regret, really. It's more like curiosity, like how can that be true? I have wide-ranging friends that I consider to be my family that I love, just like family. And so, no, I get the fact that it isn't necessarily who it's not who you were born to as much as it is, who you love and who values, the same things or whatever, the people you want to spend time with.
See, that's the thing, Ginger. I don't separate anyone who I'm going to love and who I'm not going to love. You see, that's duality. Okay, this is about finding unconditional love, in that we love all.
I do have unconditional love. It's
all right.
that it's just like what you said. Why would you want to spend time with this energy? You still, I'm assuming that you wouldn't, walk over them in the street if they were bleeding. But maybe you would. I don't know, but I would
definitely not. And I'll tell you something else. Don't even assume that I would even consider that. Now, there's a very important perspective here. With regards to other individuals, I don't care who they are. If they come to me, that's their free will choice. That's what I'm trying to explain here. If they come to me, I don't care if it's a worst nightmare. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. If my ex-best friend, who is with my ex-wife, you can figure out the details there.
I've heard you talk about it.
All right, came to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I would do? I'd welcome him with open arms.
I was going to say, I would think that just from what I've heard from you speaking, I would think that you would listen. That's what I would think.
I would do a whole lot more than listen, because I'll tell you. Now, what do you think my reaction would have been, say a few weeks after all the stuff went down? I'll tell you what my reaction was. I had a baseball bat in the back of my truck I drove around with.
I understand that.
Yeah, of course, but there's that comparison contrast, right? So what makes the difference? Well, it's because I can look at beings for what they are, what they truly are, not for what this illusion makes them out to be. They're at effect to the meat stick. I have, nothing but pity for that, because I was there too. I was that uber effect to the tricky little bastard that would stand and defend my position all day long. It's not about defending a position. It's about making something as clear as you can make it. And if people get it, great. And if they don't, great. Whatever. So
I hear you. I hear you.
I don't separate anyone. I'm going to love, what do they say? Love thine enemies, right? Love thine no vengeance. And regardless of, look at who's in our lives and what lessons they're bringing to us, what contrast they're bringing to us. Are you a nurturing being? You sound like it. You certainly feel like it. You feel like you've got oodles of compassion.
Let's just say that when I was first seeing all these things that were starting to happen to people in the last few years, where it really has been intensifying, where people are under so much stress because some of them are not even knowing what's going on. They have no idea, and some of them wanted to at first. I think a lot of them have gone back to sleep now, but people like me and my boyfriend also, that's how we found each other. My husband passed away, and I found my boyfriend basically the same kind of resonance, like you would say, because we had both taken care of people to the point where we almost lost ourselves. But what happened was we had so many people that were that way, we couldn't do it anymore. It was like now we're overwhelmed because they're all coming to us at once instead of a few at a time. And it changed things. And so it's a dynamic that changes all the time. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't want to help people, but we can't do it the way we did. There's no possible way we can do that. And so I'm hearing, that's probably why when you were saying things about, not having people take you over or take you under the water or whatever, because they will, it resonated because it was like, yes, that's exactly right. There has to be a point where you say, I can't help you anymore because you're going to take me down with you.
Well, there comes a point when you have to give up on the tricky little bastard that's telling you think you have to. That's my point.
Tricky little bastard, yeah.
It's called your ego. It's called your ego.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Okay. Okay, you figured it out. Okay, let me run a couple of things past you. Okay. Do you feel an incessant need? Do you feel an incessant need to help others?
Not like I did.
Okay,
I'm learning
it. Yeah. The only one you need to help is who? There's only one.
I need to look out for myself.
Yeah, you need to take care of you. And that might sound like, see, look what the system taught us. Well, if you're looking out for yourself and you're selfish, no. You see, because until we fix ourselves, we are a detriment to others.
We were raised that way.
Of course we were.
We were raised that way.
Everything in the
system.
system.
Other people first.
Well, that's the thing is, and who's the most important one in that equation? You. And if you're not taking care of you, rescue diver, you're going to drown before you even get out to save anybody.
Well, true. I understand that now, but when it's a very strong thing to be raised to always look out for other people first. And then when you're a mother and you look out for your children first.
Well, then I will ask you, do you really know that?
Excuse me?
Doesn't sound to me like you really know that.
I am learning it the hard way. I'm learning it.
Here it's a very simple choice, hon. This is what I'm getting it down to the nitty-gritty here. It's a very simple choice. You just have to choose. You. That's it. That's it. And in choosing you've chosen all. This is part of
I'm understanding more all the time because I'm actually listening to that. I'm hearing that.
Well, I'm hearing a different energy coming from you now. Thank you for that.
I couldn't hear it before.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and this is why it's so very easy to keep very compassionate people like you, me, and the rest of us enslaved in this paradigm. Because we have this urge and urgency to help others.
Yeah.
And I've said it many times in the air. When I'm doing these episodes, who am I really helping? Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm helping me to learn. I'm helping me to understand. I'm helping me to sort out my unconditional love aspects, not anybody else. What I'm doing when I do that is I'm sending out frequency to seek resonance. Did you ever hear the little story of the bells? The two bells in a cathedral? Did you? Let me share it with you really quickly. It's not very long.
Yeah.
There was a scientific experiment. I like going to the physical to prove the ethereal. So here we go. gentleman, can't remember his name. I'm going to look this guy up. So I can actually, say who it is. But anyway, there's this gentleman, a scientist, and he was working with sound. And he knew that sound could not travel in a vacuum. That was well understood in the late 1800s. And what he wanted to prove, though, was that regardless of the vacuum of space or a means for sound to travel through physically as a wave, in a waveform, he wanted to figure out if resonance could. So what he did was he took two bells, perfectly matched. So when he rang one at one end of the cathedral, the sound traveled to the other end, and of course the assistant was there observing the bell and watched it resonate, and it rang as well. Not as loud, but it rang. Okay, so we have the bells perfectly tuned, proving that there is resonance in sound. But he took it one step further. He took the bell at the far end of the cathedral and put it into a vacuum jar and removed all the air. And of course, had it set up so he could, check the bell inside the vacuum, so they would ring it and it couldn't be heard. And what he did was he went back to the bell that could be heard and he gave it a good smack. And what they observed inside the vacuum was, although they couldn't hear it, they could see the bell resonating. All right, this is what I'm after. I'm not after the physical sound. I'm after the ethereal. Right? Mm-hmm. And again, I have to go to the physical realm to prove the ethereal, because as above, so below. You just got to see the allegory. Now, with that in mind, the best thing that has worked for me was pulling in all of my incessant needs to help others. I'm going to do it anyway. This, if people come to me, that's their free will choice. Of course, I will act accordingly, and I will put out what I share every single night. And, it will be what it will be. I call this seed planting, looking for that resonant bell in A, by the way. Or C, or whatever the case may be. C I like because it's love. So when people come to this table, there is a resonant frequency happening. And it's happening on an ethereal level. A lot of people show up. They don't know how they found it. They don't know why they're here, but they find their way here. That's that resonance. And it only happens, and you'll be amazed, as soon as you take the energy that you're putting out, thinking that you're helping, when you're actually trespassing the shit all over free will choice. When you reel that back, when you pull that back in, and focus that energy within you, watch what happens. Now you're making the difference on the ethereal. Now you're connecting with the rest. That's why the people that show up in your life show up. That's the only reason. That's it's very easy to see in society, right? I mean, it's right there. The allegories are there. If people that I don't know, the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey team will all converge with Leaf fans, and then of course the Boston Bruins will converge with Boston Bruins because they're all at that resonant frequency. There's some attachment. You know what I mean? And that's what we're doing right now.
Well, my Thursday, I do a Thursday show, and I do basically the same, type of thing, which is, try to have people find something that they can think about, or that they want to work on, or whatever that is, and I always say that it doesn't matter who comes, because it's like it's creating something anyway, whether or not somebody comes, and so I'm on that. I do get that. I understand that part very well, and I do hear you. So thank you very much. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you for the resonance, and there you go. You planting seeds, and that's exactly all you have to do.
I always say that too. I actually use that phrase, planting seeds. I plant seeds all over the place. I write comments in newspapers. I do all kinds of stuff like that, just to tweak people so that they will move, so they will think about things, so they will actually take a positive action rather than just talk about it. I want them to be doing something at this point. I think we're way past learning and talking. We need to be doing. And so that's
I could say the same thing, but again, I'm not going to trespass on anyone's free will choice. People can do whatever they...
That's right.
No, there's a tricky little bastard again. Okay, I'm going to slap it upside the head. Here we go. All right? Okay. Why do you think you need to be the one to change other people? You selfish being you. You just said
don't
you did.
really.
You put things out there to tweak people's interests and what have you, and in hopes that
and then
you're going to
they
paint.
will choose what they want to do with it.
Okay, they're different.
Isn't that still a choice or not?
Well, that is, but whose choice is it? Yours or theirs? And this is a very fine line, hon. So
I'm not telling them what to do, so I'd say it's theirs.
No, but if they show up, that's a different story. Okay, again, this is about the revolving door. People can walk in and walk out of their own free will choice with me. I don't care. I'm just going to keep putting out.
I don't care either.
Right. That's where, see, here's the thing. When you get to the point of not giving a shit, you know what you're doing? You are caring the most of all. Good and evil, same time.
Isn't it still the same thing though? If you bring something and they decide whether they want to do anything or not.
Well, again, did they come to you as a result of their choice, or was it something that you demanded of them? Fine line.
I don't demand anything of anyone.
All right. Do you get what I'm saying about not caring to be the most caring? This is a tough one. This is a very fine line. This was a tough one.
Not caring to be the most caring. Not caring
when you stop
about what
caring,
someone chooses.
Right.
Okay, that is a hard one for me, but yes, I hear you.
Okay. When you allow the universal law of free will choice, and we all have it, it's, in a predetermined game, it's a bit convoluted, but we all have free will choice. We all have roads that we can choose, timelines, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
When we decide to say, I don't really care what direction you go in. You want to be a jarhead cop and beat people up, that's your choice. It's not something I would do. So I will choose to stand in what I would do. And I will hold my own frequency. And as a net result, I don't care what they do. So they're stuck in the illusion. And yeah, I'll write stuff and I'll send stuff out and whatever and plant seeds. If they take hold, great. If they don't, great. This is the art of Wu Wei, baby. This is the art of action in taking no action. Caring the most by caring the least. Because when we care about what other people are doing, we are actually trespassing on them. What we need to care about...
You're also giving them power.
Yes, you're feeding it. I choose not to, throw naphtha on I'll take a bucket of water to a fire versus a bucket of naphtha, and that's the only real difference. And it's not easy to get through that, and I don't expect people to grasp that right away. But if you ponder it, if you take the time with the most important being in the universe, you'll see it. Stop being distracted by others. Stop being, caring about whether someone is nurturing or hateful or whatever. It's none of your business.
I'm on the path right now.
I know you are.
That's why you're hearing this, because that is not my nature.
Yeah,
but I am on the path right now, yes.
All I'm trying to do, my dove, is power you up. So, I just had a request for a song, so let's do that.
Oh, good. All
right. We have.
Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It looks like we're closing out with a song. We got like 4 minutes left here, so. Yeah, that's how things go. But we'll continue on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is syncretism. I doubt if Sant will be here, but hey, if not, I'll hold the reins until he gets back. I know he won't be. He leaves for home on Friday, so we'll fold off here with "Feel of Broken Dreams" because I love you this much. And I don't care if you love me back. Because my love is unconditional. So, much love to everybody. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow night. As the mouse clicks, that would be good. There we go. I think it might actually get... Oh, that was weird. All right, Feel the Broken Dreams, I think. There we go.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity, will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases the rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to